Happy MLK Day and welcome inside Crisler Center and into our coverage of men's hoops between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines. It's cold outside, but warm in here. Matthew Levy alongside Zachary Linder. After one of the best weeks ever, Zachary, ever in Michigan football history, all of the attention now turns to hoops and, frankly, to a struggling Wolverines team that lost 5 straight.
Yeah, this Michigan team, obviously, as you mentioned, they've lost 5 straight games. They've fallen to 1-4 in conference play. I think the single biggest issue this Michigan team has, and their defense hasn't been good this year, allowing 77.8 points per game, but they've been turning the ball over way too much, averaging 13.3 turnovers per game. And that really is just costing them opportunities to score, giving them extra possessions. They've turned the ball over double-digit times in all but 3 of their games this year. The high mark coming 19 turnovers in their game against Penn State last week in Philadelphia, and that really allowed Penn State to climb back from a 10-point halftime deficit. Obviously, the suspension of Doug McDaniel not helping either. It's difficult enough to win road games in this sport, and Michigan losing their best player on the road in games they're going to need to win to climb back into even any possibility of tournament consideration. Just going to make the job a lot harder. They missed McDaniel last Thursday at Maryland, but they'll have him here on their home floor today.
Yeah, and you look at this team, right? If you're tied for last in the Big Ten Conference, it's been a constant downfall of this program over the past couple of years since that Sweet 16 run. The pressure falls on Juwan Howard. What do you think a win today would do for his job security for years to come?
Well, a win today I don't think is enough. I think, will have a very difficult time keeping his job after this season, and I really think this team needs to make the NCAA tournament for him to save his job. I don't think even climbing back into a possible NIT bid, which they're not in position for right now, I don't think that would be enough. And as I said, when I was talking about the McDaniel suspension winning road games, they need to defend their home floor, which obviously they haven't done that in conference. They've lost both their home games to Indiana and Minnesota, but they're just going to need to run off a string of wins. I think that's the only way that Juwan Howard saves his job. Obviously, a win today would be a starting point. They stay here in Ann Arbor to play Illinois on Thursday, which is going to be a tough matchup still. But a win today is just the starting point in what's a long road ahead for Juwan Howard and his team.
It is certainly a long road ahead. Hopefully, Michigan can turn it around today. As for Ohio State, let's go through these starting lineups because we're about to start this game off. It'll be Roddy Gale Jr., Bruce Thornton, who is the leading scorer, a sophomore in Fairbairn, Georgia. This is a very young team for Ohio State, but they do have a transfer from Minnesota, Jamison Battle, who's been terrific. Watch him, number 10, from threes, 47% from three-point land, averaging about 7 attempts per game. They also have Evan Mahaffey, their defender, on the floor, and then Felix Akpara inside. He's got a lot of length, 7'5" wingspan. As well in the middle. For the Wolverines, Doug McDaniel, as Zachary just talked about. He's back in the lineup today for home games, so he will be starting today. Namari Burnett, the transfer from Chicago. Terrence Williams, who's played pretty well, shooting 42% from 3. Olivier Kamwa, Taris Reed Jr. rounding it out. And we are just about to get this thing rolling. Michigan, Ohio State, basketball style from Crisler Center. It was a couple days ago where we had the celebration of Michigan's national championship, first one since 1997. But all the attention, it feels like, now turns to this basketball program. Can they turn it around? Does it start today versus their arch rival at home? Martin Luther King Day on Fox. This is the time to turn it around. They're 6-10, and it feels like it needs to be today.
Yeah, and at the same time, Ohio State might be the best in-conference opponent that this Michigan team has faced. Obviously, the losses at home to Indiana, home to Minnesota, and then losing to Penn State and Maryland. Maryland, of course, a highly projected team coming into the season. Haven't performed up to that level so far, although they did get a big win at Illinois yesterday. But this Ohio State team obviously had a rough season last year, but they've turned it around so far. They are coming off back-to-back losses at Indiana and home to Wisconsin. But, of course, then Michigan plays Illinois. They go at Purdue. Then they host Iowa. Then they have to go at Michigan State. this really is a gauntlet of a schedule. Ohio State might be the hardest conference opponent they'll have up to this point, yet it's still an easier opponent than Michigan's next 2 games. So this team is desperate, and they really need a win today. And with the way they've played, and we know they've struggled to close games, they need to just jump out fast. They need to shoot well. They need to not turn the ball over. And their defense is also going to have to play better than they have much of the year.
Who sets the tone today, just before we get this started? Who sets the tone? Who's the key player that you're looking at?
I mean, I think obviously Doug McDaniel from the scoring side, and then Terrace Reed Jr. on the defensive end.
All right, here we go. Michigan, Ohio State. Akpara and Terrace Reed Jr. will take the tip. Now, it is freezing outside, warmer in here. I mean, across the country, cold temperatures. But spirits are high in this Michigan, Ann Arbor, Detroit area after the Lions win last night and then the Michigan National Championship on Monday. Here we go. Tip is won by the Wolverines. Doug McDaniel will control and give it off to Namari Burnett. Jamison Battle, the transfer, will start on him. McDaniel right side. McDaniel back to the right, kicks it inside. Kamwa working on Mahaffey. Kamwa almost traveled, forces it up, and puts it in. So Olivier Kamwa gets the scoring started for the Wolverines. Here's Mahaffey, or Thornton, excuse me. Battle on the left side. Gives it off Akpara. He is big and physical. Inside, Battle kicks it out. Here's Gale Jr. He can score the basketball. Gale Jr. inside, pump, shot, no good. Good defense by Namari Burnett. Here come the Wolverines looking to push. McDaniel. Controlling, gets the screen from Reed. Doesn't use it. McDaniel now double, kicks it inside. Reed back out. Burnett a 3. No. Rebound taken by Thornton. Thornton looks to push for the Buckeyes. This is a very young Ohio State team. Nice pass inside. Mahaffey, jumper, got it.
And it's been a kind of slow start to this game. Both teams trying to kick the ball around outside, it looks, using up a lot of that shot clock.
Kamwa now inside against Mahaffey. Kamwa spins. Jumper, no. Rebound, won by Reed. Reed pumps. Layup, no. Tip again, no. And a rebound to Akpara. Here comes Thornton. McDaniel on him. Gets the screen from Akpara. Thornton, double. Throws it up. Too high for Akpara. It'll go back to the Wolverines.
Yeah, that's the first just major error we've seen by either team. Ohio State had a good look there, but just a bad throw by Thornton and a gift for the Wolverines.
So here's Doug McDaniel, gets a double screen this time. McDaniel working on Akpara. He's doubled immediately. Here's Kamwa, top of the key 3. No. Rebound won by Akpara. Quick shot from the Wolverines. Here's Thornton. Gets the screen. Thornton weaving, jumper wide open. Got it.
Yeah, and Thornton just left unguarded there. Leading scorer for Ohio State with an easy jumper.
Kamwa, hands off, nice trap. Hedge by Ohio State. Here's Burnett, he's got a lane. He lost it and won over by Jamison Battle. So a slow start for the Michigan offense. Thornton, oh, he gets doubled immediately. Akpar inside, Mahaffey. He's fouled on the dunk by Terrace Reed Jr.
Yeah, just getting in there a little too easily. Not a bad foul by Reed, obviously. Going to be a pretty easy dunk otherwise. But for the offensive side for Michigan, so far it hasn't been the turnovers that we've seen recently. It's been just bad shooting at 1 for 6.
Mahaffey, first one is good. So Mahaffey, he doesn't play as much as the starters, averaging about 23 minutes a game, but he is their defender. 2 assists per game, 1.4 steals a game. So he does the little things for this Buckeye team, and he gets 2 points on the board as Ohio State leads 6-2. Here's McDaniel in the corner. McDaniel drives baseline, kicks it out. Terrence Williams pumps, jumper 3, got it.
And that was much needed for this Michigan team that had not been shooting well. Third three-point attempt, finally get one in.
The one thing you can say about this Michigan team as Thornton makes that jumper is Terrence Williams has improved immensely. He could not shoot the basketball last year, was afraid to shoot it. He is now shooting 42% from the field. But Ohio State responds with the Thornton jumper, and it's 8-5. Just under 4 minutes gone by. Slow start as Ohio State leads 8-5 here on Martin Luther King Day. McDaniel, top of the key. Just holding the ball, nothing really working. Now forces up a 3, doesn't go. Rebound tipped up, and won by the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I don't like the shot there from McDaniel. Just too contested to try that 3.
Battle, trying to drive baseline, kicks it out. Back up top, Thornton. Back to Battle. Battle, inside, pumps, forces it, no. Rebound, grabbed by Kamwa. Here's Burnett trying to push. Burnett settles, 3-pointer, he's fouled by Battle. So he'll get 3 shots from the line as we go to immediate timeout. So let's break this down, Zachary. Slow start for the Wolverines. It feels like, I don't know, I'm watching this game. There's no energy. There's just no energy from the Michigan basketball team right now.
Yeah, they just aren't shooting the ball well. 2 for 8, kind of a gift there. That was not a good foul from Jamison Battle. Going to give Michigan 3 free throws there. But this Michigan team, I mean, we even saw Terrace Reed able to get those back-to-back offensive rebounds and just couldn't tip it in. They've only turned it over 1 time so far. But the shooting has just been the main issue. And then on the defensive end, they're just letting Ohio State get into the paint too easily, while Michigan is just settling for tough threes. I think the big one was that 3-pointer from McDaniel, and I know the shot clock was running down, but he's got 2 guys on him. That's just not a shot he should be taking.
And that shot beforehand, which is, you know, he was doubled immediately. So it wasn't like, all right, it was like a force and they were moving the basketball. They didn't move it at all. That, to me, is a sign of, I got to go do this myself. There's no team effort. That's a concern for this Michigan team if they want to turn this season around.
Yeah, and I mean, we know obviously they lost a lot of talent last offseason. Hunter Dickinson transferring to Kansas, and then having a pair of NBA draft picks leave. But obviously looking for players to step up. McDaniel's been one of those guys. Terrence Williams II, been another one of those guys. But there, McDaniel, obviously, he's been their leading scorer this year. He's been a key part of this team. But just trying to do too much there.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And this, you know, Ohio State team, you expect them on the road, you know, 2 straight losses to come out with a bang against their arch rival. But it is a young team, so there is a chance for Michigan to kind of take advantage here of a young team on the road. You know, maybe they're sleepwalking through this game because they see the record of Michigan, but it's just, Zachary, you wanted a fast start. There's nothing about this that feels like a fast start. I know it's close and they have a chance to tie Michigan, but it felt like you needed to come out at home with a bang, and so far they haven't done that.
Yeah, that last road trip, the games at Penn State and Maryland, they lost both of them, but both of those games they got a double-digit lead because the opponent just was not shooting the ball well. And then once they started shooting the ball better, Michigan really just had no response. They were turning the ball over, giving extra possessions. That's just not a blueprint you can work off of. Ohio State, 3 for 5 shooting. Michigan, 2 for 8. Michigan does have a couple offensive rebounds that have given them extra chances. But they have to actually do something on the defensive side. They have to force turnovers, force difficult shots. Not just depend on another team not being able to shoot the ball, because that's just not going to be a successful recipe.
It won't be. And, a Martin Luther King speech here inside Crisler Center. As we are almost about set to start play here. Is there a particular, I keep going back to this. Terrace Reed, you mentioned him in the pregame. He kind of, as you said, 2 offensive rebounds. He had a chance to kind of get this crowd into it with with these offensive rebound opportunities. Is he the guy to maybe even if we miss shots, let's get some offensive rebounds. Let's assert our physicality here at home. Is he the guy?
I mean, I think he definitely could be, because I want to see Michigan get into the paint more. And I think from that standpoint, Terrace Reed Jr. is the guy to do that. Obviously, he's not taking the threes, but I think Michigan's been settling for too many difficult threes. So if they get the ball to Terrace Reed Jr., that almost kind of eliminates the three-point game, which I think might actually be a good thing for this squad.
All right, so it'll be Namari Burnett at the line shooting 3 free throws. He's had a pretty good year, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He's averaged a steal. He starts, he had that big, I just remember this, that St. John's game when he came out, hit all the bunch of threes. He is a physical, tough player, probably one of the best defenders on this Wolverine team. So he'll shoot 3 free throws. First one is good. The second is pure as well. And now it feels like, all right, if they can, kind of weather the storm here, can Michigan, when is that run going to come? This feels like the opportune time to do it in the first half, where Michigan has played better than most of their opponents, as the third one rattles in and out, and it will go back to the Buckeyes.
That is tough there. Getting all 3 free throws really would have been a big momentum boost for this Michigan team. Not able to do it. Now still trailing by 1.
Top of the key, Gale to Thornton. Doubled immediately. Terrace Reed. Ooh, he almost forced the turnover. Now on the floor. Thornton gets it back. Kicks it out to Gale. Gale needs to force it up with 5 on the shot clock, and he puts it in. Nice drive baseline on Terrence Williams II, but a nice move from Roddy Gale Jr.
Yeah, Gale Jr. just had him beat there, and that's where Michigan's just struggled to defend the paint. Obviously, they only have 1 foul, but I think they need to be a little more physical defensively.
Williams gets it. Here on the right side, kicks it inside. Reed immediately doubled. Reed now spins again. Air ball rebound battle.
Yeah, and obviously contested there, but just another bad shot that's really plagued Michigan.
Thornton forces up a 3, doesn't go. Kamwa the board. Kamwa slowing it down here on the right side. Kicks it back out to Doug. McDaniel, again, suspended for 6 road games. Kicks it out. The pass was deflected. Now gets it inside to Williams. Doesn't go. Rebound to battle. As Williams and Akpara are down on the floor shaken up. Now a chance, battle, a 3 in the corner, no, and a rebound to Kamwa.
You had a good look there, wide open, just not able to hit it, but that's the type of three-pointer that you want to be taking there.
McDaniel kicks it back up, top of the key to Kamwa. Kamwa trying to force the issue. Kicks it, Burnett, McDaniel with 10 on the shot clock. McDaniel, nice move inside, blocked by Opara. What a block from the Ohio State big man. 3 on the shot clock. Kamwa 3, puts it in. Olivier Kamwa ties the game at 10. With a whistle, as Jace Howard will check in for the first time all season. So Jace Howard, he dealt with injuries to start the year. He is now back in the lineup. Will Cheddar also in as well?
Yeah, I don't know what the cause of the stoppage was, but that right there, that last possession was much better basketball. Of course, Akpara gets the block on what looked like a good layup look for McDaniel, but then Kamwa getting the rebound, gets a good look on a three-pointer. Michigan hits its second three-pointer to tie the game.
Gale immediately doubled, now kicks it out. Battle in the corner for 3, no. Hit the top of the backboard. Here comes Namari Burnett, a chance for the Wolverines to take their first lead. Burnett kicks it out. McDaniel slowing it down. Back up top of the key to Kamwa. Back to McDaniel. McDaniel makes the move. Jumper open. No. Rebound fought for by Jace Howard, and it will go to the Buckeyes.
Buckeyes basketball.
Yeah, Michigan does have 3 offensive rebounds to Ohio State's none. One thing that's given Michigan 13 field goal attempts compared to 9 for Ohio State. Shot selection obviously hasn't been ideal. It's been better these last couple possessions, though. Michigan, of course, clawing back in. They do need to do a better job on the defensive end, covering Jamison Battle. He's had a couple wide open right corner threes. He just hasn't been able to hit them.
He's an excellent shooter, too, so don't test your luck too much if you're the Wolverines. Here's Dale Bonner into the game for the Buckeyes. Thornton trying to kick it to Battle in the corner. Good D from Damari Burnett. Burnett, great defense on Battle with 15 on the shot clock. Battle, good D, deflected that as well. Now back inside to Zed Key. Key working on Cheddar. Key banging bodies. Key trying to force it. No, he draws the foul on Cheddar. Used the body, and Zed Key works his way to the free throw line.
Yeah, they get the foul, but a much better possession defensively by the Wolverines. Burnett in close on Battle, forces Battle to give up the ball. Ohio State has to drive it inside. They do get the foul, but you'd rather foul if you're Michigan than just give up an easy basket. It is only their second foul here in the first half.
So Key, he has got to a whirlwind of a career. One of the best big men in the Big Ten last year, as that free throw is no good. He played 25 games at 23 starts, averaged 13 and 8 before having season-ending shoulder injury. Now he's off the bench with Akpara's development as the big. He's the backup now, as his second is good, but he is still a more than capable backup for the Buckeyes.
Checking in for the Buckeyes, number 1, Ronnie Gale.
Yeah, I mean, he did get 1 start this year. He has gotten a good number of minutes. I mean, he's gotten 18.3 minutes per game on average.
Devin Royal in for the Buckeyes. Don't see him a whole lot. Here's Comwell working inside. Jumper, fade away, doesn't go. Rebound out to Royal. Royal to Thornton. McDaniel on him. Thornton immediately trapped once again. Now they back off. Thornton jumper doesn't go. Tip from Key doesn't go. Royal offensive rebound and puts it in. 2 offensive rebounds from the Buckeyes, and they take a 3-point lead.
Yeah, Michigan getting traffic into paint, just not able to rebound there, and Ohio State taking advantage of the extra possession.
Comwell pick and pop had an open jumper. Now they kick it out. Cheddar, a wide open 3. Got it. So Michigan with open 3s across the floor hits that one and ties it once again.
Yeah, Michigan only 4 for 15 shooting, but 3 for 6 from 3.
Wide open Royal. I mean, that is a complete miscommunication. Doug McDaniel needs the help, and an easy 2 for Devin Royal.
And it's just been the paint. Michigan's had so much trouble guarding here.
McDaniel a 3 doesn't go in and out, but a foul on the floor against the Buckeyes, so the ball will stay with the Wolverines as we head to our second media timeout. Ohio State up 15-13 to start this MLK Day Junior battle. All right, I thought I saw more energy from Michigan offensively. It feels like, you know, they're getting those open 3s and they're getting those looks.
Yeah, the shots, they're obviously going with the heavy three-point approach, which I didn't like early just because they were bad shots. They're getting better shots now. They're 25% from the floor, but 43% from 3 points. So obviously the shot selection is better. The defense has been better. I mean, I think their best defensive possession may have been when Jamison Battle got into the right corner where he had taken 2 wide open 3s, missed them both. But Michigan learned. Damari Burnett really came in tight to guard him. They ended up having to push it inside to Key, who eventually did get fouled, but then he splits the pair of free throws. So that's still potentially 2 points that Michigan saved from that physical defense. Now, we did see the last possession was not good. Royal had too easy of a layup, but there's been progress for sure. Michigan, of course, still trailing by 2. Obviously, as I said, going in, looking to really get off to a fast start and then work to actually maintain the lead. So still, I think, with the way Michigan's been playing this year, it's tough to feel comfortable until they're up. but there's at least been improvement from the first 4 minutes.
Well, I don't think you can be comfortable if they're up because they've blown so many leads.
That is valid.
But, it's the little things, right? When you watch a basketball game, Ohio State is not leaving a big man wide open and having their point guard him to get an easy 2. That's Michigan. They're at home. They have the energy of the crowd, and they still make these mistakes, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, I hate to be so critical, but that's the honest assessment of this basketball game. Michigan should be ahead. They have the open shots, but offensive rebounds, dumb fouls, leaving a guy wide open. Those are the things that have shifted this game into Ohio State's favor, or forcing up shots. It's the little things right now as to why Ohio State's ahead. It's not the talent. It's not the energy. It's the little things.
Right, and obviously I said going into this game that, Michigan, obviously last year they had a lot of talent and just not able to turn that into enough wins. And they lose Dickinson, they lose Jet Howard, they lose Bufkin, but they've gotten enough production from guys like Doug McDaniel, Terrence Williams II, Terrence Reed Jr. to kind of offset that. So that's not the issue. And when they played well early in the year, they were able to get that 3-0 start, had a dominant win at St. John's, which really created this more interest in the team. Maybe they would exceed expectations. Of course, then they followed that up with a home loss to Long Beach State. And we've just seen those same types of execution issues that have plagued them the last couple years, really ever since their Elite 8 run from 3 years ago. And that's still creeping in here. Michigan, they're in this game, but to your point, they absolutely could be ahead if they executed better, especially on the defensive end, in the paint, and then also with shot selection on the offensive side.
4 more field goal attempts for Michigan right now. 3 threes compared to 0 threes from Ohio State. They have similar number of rebounds. It is not like on the stat sheet Ohio State is leading. It is the fact that Ohio State has gotten the easy buckets, have gotten the easy paint looks, and Michigan, frankly, has not defended with the little discipline, with the discipline of those little things, and that's what's costing them right now, and that's why this game is a score of 15-13, and the Buckeyes are leading.
Right, and you said Michigan has 4 more shot attempts. They've also made 2 fewer shots,
exactly.
And that's, to your point, getting shot attempts is only helpful when they're good shot attempts. And 3 of the 4 makes they've been have been 3-pointers, so they've been shooting from 3 well, but they have to have something in the paint where they can get more reliable buckets.
Terrence Williams II will inbound, kicks it inside Kamwa. Nice look inside and finishes. Nice lefty layup from Kamwa to tie the game at 15.
Yeah, that's the look inside the paint that Michigan, I think, needs more of. Those are the reliable baskets they can get to keep pace with this Buckeyes team.
And it feels like it's got to be Kamwa or McDaniel inside. They're the ones that can generate the offense. Here's Zed Key working on Cheddar. Key spins. Oh, great D from Cheddar. He forces the block, and it will go to the Wolverines. What defense from Will Cheddar right there.
Yeah, Will Cheddar known more for his 3-point shooting, but that is the solid defense that Michigan needs. Ohio State trying to work into the paint with Key, as they've been doing much of this game. Cheddar there gets the block, and they take the ball away.
McDaniel, left side, Kamwa. Hand off, Terrence Williams. Williams now feeds it left side in the post to Kamwa. Kamwa working inside on Akpara. Good D from Akpara. Too much length, but Michigan will control once again with 8 on the shot clock. Jace Howard with 5. Howard kicks it out. Kamwa makes his move. Kamwa forces up a jumper. Got it. Olivier Kamwa. What a start for him in this basketball game. He's got 9 and gives Michigan their first lead. Gale working on Cheddar. Now Thornton on Jace Howard. Kicks it out. Gale, Williams on him. Gale attacks. Good length, good D from Terrence Williams. And again, Will Cheddar making his defensive presence known. Forces up a shot from the big men of Ohio State. Now kicks it out. Here's Kamwa. He's feeling it. Now nice pass inside. Cheddar puts it in. And that's two instances right there where Olivier Kamwa, instead of forcing up a three, either attacks the lane and gets a better shot attempt or passes it inside. Really nice job and a really nice start from Olivier Kamwa.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's helped Michigan get this 6-0 run that's given them this lead. Again, threes are fine when they're good looks, but when they're not, find that better option. And as you said, that's what Kamwa's done the last two possessions.
Thornton kicks it out. Bonner a three, doesn't go. Rebound tipped up by Akpara, and great box out by Cheddar, and it will go to the Wolverines. I can't say enough. Will Cheddar right now, he's brought energy to the game and has done a really nice job inside against Akpara and Key for Ohio State.
Yeah, not really the guy you'd expect on that defensive end, but that's what Michigan has been able to do this year. Get sparks from their entire roster.
Here's Kamwa, once again gets it, working on Akpara. Kamwa doesn't go, rebound to Mahaffey. Here's Thornton, looking to push against Kamwa. Thornton gets the screen, gets the mismatch, kicks it out. Here's Bonner, back to Thornton. Thornton a three, doesn't go. Rebound won by Jace Howard. Michigan with a 4-point lead. Howard looking to push. Howard kicks it, Williams inside to Cheddar. Cheddar working on Akpara. This is how Michigan has generated their offense, inside to out. Here's Terrence Williams, nice scoop layup, puts it in. Michigan up 6.
And there's more paint work that I think is going to be Michigan's most reliable chance of offensive success.
Here's Thornton working on Jace Howard. Great D, but too much body by Jace Howard, and Thornton will draw the foul on the floor. That is the fourth, on the Wolverines.
Yeah, but I don't mind that right there. We saw Michigan not being nearly physical enough inside early in the game. They're at 4 fouls with just over 8 minutes to go, which is not a bad number. I'd rather see them getting those fouls, especially on the floor, not resulting in free throws, versus just giving up easy buckets.
So Kamwa takes a break. Now Michigan goes 2 bigs, Cheddar and Reed in. Here's a force. Akpar, nice little spin move, hook, left hook, baby hook goes, and Ohio State cuts the lead to 4.
Yeah, Terrence Reed was in there on defense. Akpara just able to get around it. Not a bad possession from Michigan.
McDaniel, low percentage too, and he missed all of it. So that will take us to immediate timeout, but Michigan, finally a spark. Finally some offense generated by Olivier Kamwa to increase the lead to 4. Michigan 8 for 23 from the field, so only 35%, but 3 for 7 from the 3. Ohio State has missed all of their 3-point attempts, and right now that is the difference here in this 21-17 ball game.
Yeah, and obviously Michigan getting more shot attempts. They've out-rebounded Ohio State on the offensive glass 4-1. Each team only with 1 turnover, so that has not been an issue for Michigan on the offensive side like it's been the last couple games. The issue really just been shot selection. It's been inconsistent. We've seen it better the last few minutes. Did not like that last shot from McDaniel. And I don't know if he exactly knew where he was. Obviously just inside the 3-point arc, wide open. Normally you try to stay outside. It didn't look like he was balanced either. It resulted in airballing it short, giving it back to Ohio State. But Michigan getting that 6-0 run, I believe an 8-0 run it was, to take a 6-point lead. And it was better shot selection and willingness to push the ball into the lane rather than just taking bad 3 opportunities that presented themselves.
And the one player that has struggled for the Wolverines, Doug McDaniel, he has 0 points, 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. How much does his struggles have to do with the fact that he's now playing the road games?
I mean, obviously, there is concern about the rhythm he gets into. And obviously, I was saying it's going to make it tough for them trying to win on the road. But even at home, I mean, we obviously don't know how much time, like what his practice schedule is compared to when the team's traveling. So that could be an issue. Obviously, this team stays at home on Thursday against Illinois. So hopefully he can start to get into rhythm throughout this game and then kind of be more in a normal pace for that Illinois game. Obviously, he's only missed 1 game so far. But, I mean, it's not great But just from a team standpoint, they're just going to have to find other guys who can produce. Obviously on the road when he's not there, but even at home, having other guys who are more in rhythm, able to produce every game is going to help. And obviously Olivier Kamwa has been the guy so far, 9 points, making 4 of 9 shot attempts, including 1 of his 2 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and despite the Michigan good that we've seen to start this game, I think a lot of the struggle, or a lot of the reason why this is a 4-point lead for the Wolverines is Ohio State, frankly, they haven't been good. Their offense particularly, a lot of ISO basketball I'm seeing.
Yeah, and early on they were succeeding because Michigan just basically left the lane wide open. And Ohio State would just drive in and take easy layups. But Michigan's defense is clamped down. And their last possession, Akpara got a jumper, just worked around Terrace Reed Jr., and so that was a good shot for them. But otherwise, when Michigan's guarded well, Ohio State really hasn't had an answer. And even though this Michigan defense hasn't been consistent, to be successful on the offensive side, you do need to be able to work through good defense. And I think that's something we've seen the Buckeyes haven't done very well. And obviously 0 for 5 from three-point attempts. They've had looks. They do have to, obviously, getting looks is part of the job, but you also have to be able to hit them. For Michigan, the issue has been getting the right shots. For Ohio State, it's just been hitting the shots.
That's a very good point. And right now, Ohio State 0 for 5 from three-point land, and they do still have 6 fewer shot attempts. Ohio State shooting 41% from the field, Michigan 35. So we are just about set to resume. Jamison Battle right back in for the Buckeyes. If there's a guy that can hit the three, it's him. He is 47%, and I keep saying that because he is ultra dangerous from three, a prolific scorer at Minnesota, and a guy that can really change the tide of this basketball game. With Thornton, top of the key, Battle, and then left side, Gale back to Para, top of the key. Ohio State now moving the basketball a little bit more. Mahaffey gets it. Thornton looking to attack. Thornton, crossover. Thornton kicks it out. Nice move. Gale inside. Gale draws the foul. You know, Roddy Gale Jr., he feels like the guy for Ohio State who can really attack the lane. He had that 32-point outing a couple games ago for Ohio State. He's the guy that feels like he can create the offense for the Buckeyes. Had 32 versus West Virginia. Had a slow start tonight. He has 2 points in 12 minutes. His first one is good, so Ohio State cuts the lead to 3 as Kamwa is right back in for Cheddar. So it'll be Kamwa, Williams, McDaniel, Burnett, and Reed, your starting lineup. Gale's second goes, and Ohio State has their starting lineup in as well. So 21-18, 7:30 to go here in this first half. Up and down for both sides as Michigan leads by 2. McDaniel gets the screen. He is scoreless so far, and he almost lost it. Now gets it back to Kamwa. Back to McDaniel with 15 on the shot clock. McDaniel almost lost it again. Not a clean possession so far for the Wolverines. Now they get it inside. Kamwa in the post, immediately doubled. Nice pass inside. Kamwa to Reed. Reed with 3. Reed forces it up, gets his offensive rebound, doesn't go. 2 attempts again, and he just can't finish. Here comes Mahaffey. Akpara and Gale playing 1-2. Gale looks, trying to find Akpara, and he throws it way over his head. It'll go back to the Wolverines.
Yeah, that's only the second turnover for Ohio State, but both have just been throwing the ball away. On pass attempts, not really close to the target. Michigan, of course, only 1 turnover, so it's been a pretty clean game so far. But those are mistakes Ohio State just can't have.
McDaniel to Kamwa. They'll play 1-2. McDaniel getting downhill. Kicks it back out. Terrence Williams, open 3. Got it. The improvement from him shooting the basketball is evident as Michigan regains their 5-point lead. Here's Thornton, forces up a jumper, doesn't go. Nice rebound by Mahaffey, kicks it back out. Gale, Thornton, a three, no. So Ohio State, 0 for 7 from three-point land. Here's the kick, Kamwa, open three in the corner, yes!
And that's been the difference. Michigan 5 for 9 from 3, Ohio State 0 for 5.
Olivier Kamwa gets the crowd into it, but a blocking foul called on the floor against Kamwa guarding Akpara.
Yeah, Kamwa was just out of position there. Someone had to get in Akpara, but he was just never going to have enough time to establish a legal guarding position there.
So Michigan gets that lead up to the highest it's been. They're on a 6-0 run over the past 40 seconds. Impressive basketball, pushing the basketball and getting open looks. Gale underneath. Burnett guarding him. Now kicks it out. Here's Battle. Inbounds. Battle driving baseline, immediately doubled. Kicks it to Mahaffey. Back in the corner. Gale good. Contest by Burnett. Now kicks it wide open. Jamison Battle. He's 0 for 3, but a rebound by Akpara. No foul called on the over the back, and now Michigan will gain it. Possession as McDaniel helps Burnett up while dribbling the basketball. McDaniel right to the rim. No, but a goaltending. The speed of Doug McDaniel. We haven't seen it all night long, all day long, I should say, but he gets it to go right there as Michigan takes a 10-point lead. Timeout, Chris Holtman, and the Michigan fans are loving it early.
Yeah, and all the momentum now with this Wolverines team, and we saw Jamison Battle once again had a wide open look and just not able to hit it there. Ohio State gets the offensive rebound but still can't do anything. Then just a quick drive by McDaniel ends up with the goaltend. And now Michigan with the 10-point lead. And now we're back to the familiar spot that Michigan has been in so much this year. And here's the issue I see. It's not even as much how will Michigan play, but Ohio State is 0 for 7 from 3 points. And we've established that's the main reason Michigan's up 10. That number's not going to stay. Ohio State's going to start making three-pointers. Does Michigan's defense have what it takes to hold on to this lead when Ohio State starts shooting back?
And I feel like you got to keep running the offense through Olivier Kamwa. He has 12 points, 5 for 10 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3. He's the guy that's getting the looks. He's bigger, he's stronger, and when he gets the smaller guy on him, Ohio State doesn't have that defender that can really match up with them unless they're going to put Akpara there, or they're going to have to double, which is causing these open looks. The reason why Terrence Williams is getting some shots now up. So Olivier Kamwa, you got to keep playing through him, it feels like, for the Wolverines. Thornton has the basketball, McDaniel on him. Just over 5 minutes to go here in this first half. Michigan up 10. They've taken control of this basketball game. Here's Battle working on Burnett. Battle kicks it back out. Here's Mahaffey. Here's Gale. Reed on him. Gale settles. Three-pointer, no. Rebound, fought for and won by Akpara. Another offensive rebound for Ohio State as Thornton's three finally goes. So the first three from Ohio State, and that's been because of their offensive rebounding. They finally get the look. And now a whistle, and this could be an offensive foul. I think on Reed getting position inside. So Terrence Reed, he has really struggled. 0 points, 0 for 5 from the field. When Will Cheddar came into the basketball game, he was excellent. He brought energy. When does Michigan maybe turn to Will Cheddar here? Maybe you see more Will Cheddar in that second half. We'll see. Michigan up 7. Good D to start. Key kicks it. Battle trying to find baseline. Steps back. Three-pointer doesn't go. Rebound. Finally a foul on Akpara. Terrace Reed thanks the refs.
Yeah, Terrace Reed, of course, well, he's gotten 3 rebounds, all on the offensive side. That was his first defensive rebound there, so now he has 4. But of course, it is interesting because Terrace Reed, you expect him to be making more of an impact on the defensive side, but also working inside the paint. Instead, as you said, it was Will Cheddar who, even on the defensive side more than anything, was providing the energy.
And the crowds just feed off of Will Cheddar's energy. It felt like when he was in the game, Michigan's energy spiked. Here's McDaniel trying a no-look pass. He turns it over. Here comes Thornton. Lobs it up. Zed Key doesn't get it to go. He completely missed that dunk. Could have been a major momentum swing for the Buckeyes. Here's McDaniel. Kicks it inside. Reed one-on-one with Akpara. Reed feeds it, trying to feed it to Kamwa. Another turnover. Back-to-back for the Wolverines. Thornton looking to push. Thornton. Back outside. Open is Zed Key. He'll work on Terrace Reed. Key inside to Akpara. Akpara. Layup is good. Working on Olivier Kamwa. Body blow. Akpara, he's an impressive big man for Ohio State.
And of course, Ohio State now starting to shoot a little better, getting those offensive rebounds, back-to-back turnovers for Michigan. Ohio State cutting this lead now, starting to wonder if the momentum's swinging.
McDaniel now standing in the same side as Williams. Now he gets an open look. Doug McDaniel from three. Puts it in. Momentum right back to the Wolverines as Doug McDaniel gets a much needed three, and Michigan leads by 8.
Yeah, Michigan needed that one to kind of quell Ohio State's momentum a little, just get this crowd into it.
Thornton forcing up a three, doesn't go. Nice tip from Kamwa, and here come the Wolverines once again with a lead of 8.
And that was big there getting the rebound because Ohio State, even with all their missed threes, was able to extend a couple possessions by rebounding them.
Ohio State switched to zone, forced the Terrence Williams jumper, doesn't go, the wide open shot, and here comes Ohio State the other way. Bonner. Excuse me, that's Middleton. Middleton entering the game for the first time today, and he's fouled on the jumper by Terrence Williams. Media timeout, Michigan up 8, 32-24. It's been Kamwa, but finally Doug McDaniel getting himself going with that three-pointer as Michigan leads by 8.
Yeah, and this Michigan team, of course, in a familiar position, but this game is a lot like what I said the last two were like. Michigan really taking a lead on the backs of poor opponent shooting. Now, we saw Ohio State finally got one three-pointer, but they're 1 for 11 from long. They do have 4 offensive rebounds, still trailing Michigan 6. But the question is, can Michigan sustain the offense? They've turned the ball over 4 times, but those last 3 turnovers have come in the last couple minutes, so that's a bit of a concern. And then sustain the defense, understanding Ohio State's going to make three-pointers. Michigan needs to guard inside more than anything else they do, but they can't keep giving Jamison Battle open threes because he's 0 for 4, but give him another 4, he very well could make 2 or 3 of them.
And it's interesting, right, because we talk about that inside for both teams. Both teams have had their plenty of looks in terms of offensive rebounds. Ohio State has 4, Michigan has 6. Meanwhile, it feels like Ohio State has taken advantage of those opportunities. Michigan so far, not so much.
Yeah, definitely. Michigan, of course, we saw like Terrace Reed Jr. He has 4 of Michigan's 6 offensive rebounds, but just not able to convert even those putbacks. That does hurt this Michigan team. Ohio State not doing a great job necessarily, I think, just because they've been struggling to shoot so much in general. But that is another big thing. I think Michigan has to be better on the defensive glass.
That's what it's got to be for the Wolverines. As it is 32-24. Wolverines ahead here in this one. Michigan trying to get out of last place in the Big Ten standings. Obviously a huge week for basketball. They play today, and then they play host to one of the top teams in the Big Ten, Illinois. They'll play them on Thursday. So 2 big games for the Wolverines trying to right this season. Can they salvage something? Get some momentum maybe for a Big Ten tournament run. It's not like these juggernauts we thought coming into the year, your Michigan States or Purdue's, haven't been unbelievable, unstoppable. There is a way for Michigan to compete in the Big Ten if they could figure it out. It starts today versus Ohio State, and so far they have an 8-point lead, but they've been in this situation before, Zachary. They've been in here and we've talked extensively about it. When they get a lead, they have been susceptible to blowing those leads. Obviously the last one was versus Maryland. That was on the road, maybe some home cooking here at home. Maybe that changes things, but we'll see if the same story will end up happening, or will it switch and Michigan hold on with 2:21 here in the first half.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome home.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned the Big Ten. It's really not all that clear. Wisconsin, of course, is surprised.
As the Fab Five is in attendance for the Wolverines, a standing ovation. Obviously, the fifth member of the Fab Five is coaching the Wolverines, so maybe he gets a little spark from his buddies being in attendance today.
At the line, shooting 2 for the Buckeyes, 0, Scotty Middleton.
Middleton at the line, he'll shoot 2. Middleton's first goes. So Middleton has not played all game long for the Buckeyes, and he gets 1 of 2 to go, but an offensive rebound, it looked like from Royal, but then it goes out of bounds, so it'll be back to the Wolverines.
Yeah, kind of a break there for the Wolverines. As I said, they still do have to do a better job on the offensive glass, or on the defensive glass, rather. Maintained a 7-point lead. The 8-3 foul disparity is a little concerning. Ohio State, of course, in the bonus. But then again, I said early on Michigan needed to play more physically. And so you take this compared to the early buckets they were giving up to start the game.
Here's the move. Inside, Kamwa. Working, Kamwa with 3 on the shot clock. He traveled. Good D right there from Ohio State. That was Zed Key. I mean, excellent defense against Olivier Kamwa.
And now the turnovers really starting to become an issue for Michigan. Up to 5 turnovers now compared to Ohio State's 2. Not as bad as it's been in some games, but not trending in the right direction.
Especially in the last 5 minutes, that's been the issue. Here's Zed Key, top of the key. Key kicks it out. Here's a 3. Chapman, no. Rebound again from Ohio State. Royal inside, gets it to go, and the foul. How about Devin Royal? He has come in with physicality, and he is up to 6 points on the day.
Yeah, and these offensive rebounds, to your point, Ohio State just doing a better job taking advantage of them. Of course, Michigan with 10 second chance points, Ohio State with 7, but as of late, the script has really seemed to flip there. Turnovers now favoring Ohio State, offensive rebounds favoring Ohio State.
Royal at the line for 1. 1:30 to go in this first half as that goes. So Ohio State cuts the lead, a little 6-0 spurt to cut the lead to 4. So Michigan up to 4 turnovers in the last 4 minutes. An issue that Zachary has pointed out as McDaniel's layup does not go. The back pressure by Zedke affecting that shot. Here's Thornton, kicks it out, corner, Scotty Middleton, kicks it, Chapman, wide open 3 doesn't go. Ohio State cannot find the bucket from 3-point land so far. Under a minute to go in this first half. Michigan up 4, here's Tarris Reed, working on Royal. Reed, double, Reed, scoop layup, finally inside, gets it to go. Nice move from Tarris Reed. Lead up to 6. Any foul from the Wolverines, they have 9, so any foul result in 2 shots. Ohio State, meanwhile, only has 3. Here's Thornton looking to attack. Thornton kicks it out to Chapman. Michigan bench wanted to travel. They don't get it. Chapman inside, looking with 3 on the shot clock. Middleton forces it up. No, he missed all of it. With 17 seconds, a chance for the Wolverines to cap off a good first half. 10 seconds to go. McDaniel barking signals. Thornton fouls him immediately, and you could do that because that is only the 4th foul for Ohio State, so it'll just be an inbound.
And you wonder how they're going to play this going forward. They still have 2 fouls to give. And I think Michigan's going to use it or lose it timeout here. But then again, you don't want to rack up the personal fouls on guys because depending how the second half goes, that could still be something that could come back to haunt them. So if they are going to use any more fouls that they have, they do just have to be kind of careful with who they use them on.
Just one thing here, Zachary. Would you foul in this situation if you're Chris Holtmann in Ohio State?
If I can get a guy who's not going to be playing a lot and I'm willing to use the fouls on, I would. It's just you can probably run off another 3 seconds by using those last 2 fouls, but I'm not doing it with one of my starters who already has a foul. At that point, I'll just let him shoot, try to play good defense. I think Ohio State has to be prepared to play it out either way. I don't think they can do it as an end-of-game type scenario, but I think if they have the right guy in position to foul, I don't see why not.
So we have a little discussion going on between the referees and Chris Holtmann as Middleton is now forced back on the floor. I think they were trying to get Akpara in. Now he sits. 5.2 on the clock. Michigan will inbound from the left side of the floor.
Yeah, the only thing I think of, maybe Akpara didn't report to the scores table by the end of the timeout.
Michigan into McDaniel. McDaniel with 3. McDaniel fouled. So with 3.2, Roddy Gale Jr. So a starter there commits the foul. That is the 5th Ohio State foul, now with 3.2 seconds.
Yeah, but I understand it. It is his first foul. I would not have done it if he already had one.
McDaniel gets a look for 3. Got it! Doug McDaniel from downtown. And Michigan caps off an impressive first half with a buzzer beater 3 as they lead by 9 over their arch rival Ohio State. Energy in the building.
Yeah, and I don't think Ohio State played that situation badly at all. Obviously, Roddy Gale Jr. had no fouls. You're willing to give him 1. They covered McDaniel well. It was more of a desperation shot than an ideal look, but he just hit it. And all of a sudden, the momentum's all with Michigan, up 9 at halftime. And then, of course, this comes to the question, can they hold it?
Yeah, so Michigan up 9 over Ohio State here in this first half, and we'll turn it over for the second half to TJ and Alex. They'll take over for the second half in an exciting one, a fun one. So stay tuned to WCBN. Michigan up 9 over Ohio State.
Be sure to check out the Inside Michigan Basketball Radio Show, held at Pretzel Bell, or you can tune in live to 1270 AM WXYT in Detroit or 1050 AM WTKA here in Ann Arbor. The next show will be on Thursday, January 25th at 7 p.m. For more information, visit mcoblue.com. Ladies and gentlemen, founded in 1906 at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was the first Black Greek letter fraternity created by 7 distinguished men. This organization was built on the foundations of manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. and its legacy found a remarkable embodiment in Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who became one of its most notable members after joining the Sigma chapter at Boston University in 1952. At this time, please help me welcome the Alphas from the Epsilon chapter to engage you in a step and strolling performance, paying homage to their brother, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into your second half and at first halftime coverage of this Michigan-Ohio State basketball game. I'm Alex Miller. Alongside me is TJ Fossmeyer. It's 37-28. Kudos to Matthew Levy and Zach Linder for a great first half call.
Great call.
But this is going to be a fun second half. Michigan up, as I said, 37-28. And it's been an impressive start for the Wolverines in this one, TJ.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, heading into this game, I was worried about Ohio State, how they center their offense around two players, and that's Jamison Battle and Bruce Thornton. And Michigan has done very well in containing them and putting pressure on secondary options like Roddy Gale or Scotty Middleton. So that to me has been very impressive, and that's jumped off the pages for me.
Battle in particular has struggled from the field. He's taken a lot of threes right in front of Michigan's bench, and perhaps he's hearing the noise, but he has not been particularly efficient from downtown in this one.
No, I mean, Ohio State, I think they're the fourth best team in the Big Ten as far as three-point field goal percentage. And that's, and to completely reverse that against a team that has not done well at all on the defensive side of the ball is great for Michigan so far in this rivalry game.
And on the other side, I mean, this is a Michigan team that has struggled defensively pretty much all year. They're allowing the most points of any team in the Big Ten. But they've done pretty well in this one.
Yeah, I mean, what we were talking about in the first half is that, they could put points on the board, but they cannot stop opponents at all. And that to me has just jumped off the pages for what they've done in this high-stakes game, especially, after a 5-game losing streak as well, that they need to come back from if they want to salvage anything from this, this disappointing season.
Right. This is a Michigan team that, as you said, 5-game losing streak. They have struggled in particular lately, and this season has been an interesting one. I think coming into this season, I don't think expectations were super high, but I think they were higher than how this team has performed this season. There's been a lot of close losses, but losses nonetheless that this team has suffered.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're in the bottom of the Big Ten. I don't think that was expected this year. And part of that has been, and going into this season, at least I personally was expecting this team to really compete on the defensive side of the ball. Terrace Reed at times has been a really good defensive center.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Williams is a long wing. Olivier Kamwa is a physical 4. And Doug McDaniel, a little undersized, but can be a pit bull at the top of a defense. And I was expecting this team to be better defensively. That hasn't been the case, and I think that has been a big part of their struggle this season.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And, for the Jumpman Classic in against Florida and Charlotte, that looked like a close game. I mean, that, after I think that was after 2 big wins at Iowa, which I was at, and that was a great game to watch. That was a great game for Michigan. Their only Big Ten win of the season so far. And then coming off Eastern Michigan, and then a close loss to, a decent Florida team that has March aspirations. And then you lose some really bad games against McNeese State, and then Minnesota, who's been on a tear, and you lose a close one against Penn State, and then you blow the lead against Maryland. It's just these games, Michigan should have won, and then they just faltered down the stretch. I think that's just the biggest narrative for this Michigan team, is that they can get out to a great start, which is what we're seeing tonight or right here, and then we'll have to see how they combat those struggles down the stretch, particularly in this game.
And it bears mentioning, of course, Doug McDaniel did not play in that Maryland game. He's indefinitely suspended for games on the road. He's back in this one. While he has only 8 points, 3 for 10 from the field, a little bit inefficient.
Yeah.
I think, as always, it's very easy to tell that McDaniel is just the engine that makes this offense run. He's really the only guy that plays point guard, and he played 19 minutes of the first half. So Michigan is going to ride on McDaniel, and if there's anyone who's shown that he can carry this team as an engine offensively, it's been McDaniel this year.
Yeah, and what's surprising me with him is just his maturity within the team. I know I saw him earlier in this first half as he was coming in. He was coaching from the bench. practically, and it's that leadership and that consistency within this team that he's really grown into that, even grown into the starting role and the leadership role as well.
Absolutely. And then talking about this game a little bit, Michigan up 37-28. I mean, the difference is pretty apparent. 3-point shooting, Michigan 7 for 11. Ohio State 1 for 14
Wow.
from downtown. And
that definitely has not been the narrative for Ohio State this year, for sure. I mean, Battle, you should not, Michigan oftentimes in this game have left him wide open in the corner, albeit right in front of Michigan's bench, but those are shots he should take and he should absolutely make, and that he's been doing that all season.
Yeah, Battle's at nearly 47% from downtown this year. I mean, obviously, anyone who's watched him at Minnesota over the last 2 years knows Jamison Battle's a dangerous shooter when he gets into rhythm. Michigan has done a nice job containing him. He's missed the shots that he's had, and that's been a big part of this Michigan lead. But if Michigan can get stops at the rate that they've been getting them in this game, their offense is good enough to compete in this conference.
Yeah, I agree. That's just the one thing they need to clean up is defense. At the Iowa game I called earlier in December, they got out to this big stretch in the second half. I think they scored 11 straight points, and then it's that defense that bad defense from Michigan kept Iowa in the game. But luckily, Michigan held on for that only Big Ten win. So we'll have to see how they do down the stretch. I'm really curious, and that was one of my keys to victory for either team, is that whoever can get past their struggles down the stretch on both sides of the ball and execute on both sides of the ball, whoever can get past that will win this game.
And for the Buckeyes in this one, they're, as we already mentioned, 1 for 14 from downtown, but really haven't been that efficient overall. They're shooting 32% from the field, and Bruce Thornton has 7, shooting 33% from the field. Devin Royal off the bench has a nice 7 points. A couple other players have 4. No one in double figures for the Buckeyes. And this Michigan defense has competed. They've been physical in the paint, on the block, and that's been a big part of this game.
And Nakamwa has really come into his own. He's a big mid-range threat for this team, and he's really coming to his own. Late in the shot clock, he's made some poor percentage shots, but they're going in. Just to show the mid-range threat he is, and he's 5 for 10 from the field with 12 points, so that's really impressive to see.
Absolutely.
And I know your favorite, Terrence Williams, the second, he's really gone off.
Terrence Williams
had really good first half so far.
Terrence Williams is having a good season. There is no other way to say it. I mean, he's a 6'7" wing, shooting 42% from three-point range. He's competitive on defense. There's not a lot more you can ask out of your starting small forward, and Terrence Williams, I think, received a lot of flack during the past season, and maybe some of it was deserved, maybe some of it was a little bit of an overreaction, but this season, Terrence Williams II has been a valuable asset for Michigan, and because I think there's a lot of searching right now that this Michigan team is going through. They're obviously at the bottom of the conference. They have been struggling, 5-game losing streak, no question asked. And when you look at this team, you start to wonder, well, what has gone wrong? I think a big part of it is the defense. I think that the bench depth hasn't really been there at times. I mean, Will Cheddar has been shockingly efficient, absurdly this season, 60% from the field and 3 above that. I wonder if that stays, if he gets more touches and more looks, but beyond him, the bench has been sort of quiet. Trey Jackson has been shooting 19% from 3, and as a supposed three-point specialist, that's not going to cut it. And Jalen Llewellyn hadn't played a ton until he got 33 minutes against Maryland on the road last time out, because obviously Doug didn't play in that one, but this bench hasn't been there, and I think that's perhaps another question mark for this team.
And then we've seen the shocking return of Jace Howard tonight, or in this game as well. That defensive specialist. Hopefully, as we see him running out on the court, he got a huge applause, a huge standing ovation when he came out of the floor in this game. So we'll have to see how much of an impact he can make on the defensive side of the ball, as they've struggled in that area this season.
Absolutely. I think Jace he's a positive weapon for Michigan to have back. He's 6'8". He can guard 1 through 5 with his strength, and he's quick enough to guard guards. I mean, he can be a valuable defender, and it seems like this Michigan offense will be good enough even with him on the floor. And he also, for what it's worth, was 7 for 17 from downtown last year. So if he can knock threes down at not a lot of volume, but at a good rate, I mean, he's a valuable defender to have on the court, and Michigan needs stops, and Jace Howard can be a big part in that.
Yeah, and you can already see his impact on the floor just with how Michigan is beating Ohio State. They're beating them at their strengths, of course. Limiting that three-point shot, limiting shooting, limiting Thornton's ISO threat. and they're doing that, and that, Jace Howard's contributions in that area cannot go unnoticed as well.
Michigan has only gone 7 deep in this one. Just Jace and Will Cheddar off the bench, which I think is a little bit of a surprise. Obviously, Trey Jackson has played a lot this year off the bench, and I was expecting to see some Jalen Llewellyn after
a 33-minute
33 minutes.
start.
And obviously, that was McDaniel not playing, and with Doug playing 19 minutes of the first half, might do that again in the second. Maybe you don't need a second ball handler in there next to him, but we'll see if we see any George Washington in the third, or if any of these bench guys get some minutes and have a chance to step up in the second half for Michigan.
I anticipate Trey Jackson coming in. He's been an impact player off the bench, and against Iowa, he was an impact player. He really was the cause of that 11-point swing to start the second half in that game. And Jalen Llewellyn, he's really come into his own after that injury. And I think the coaching staff, they've been really trying to get him back into this rotation. So I feel like those two players we will definitely see in this game come the second half.
And on the opposite end, the Buckeyes went 10 deep in the first half. Some young players. Tyson Chapman got a couple minutes toward the end there. Scotty Middleton. Devin Royal was great off the bench in his 6 minutes. So it's a young Buckeye team in a lot of ways. A lot of young players. Roddy Gale Bruce Thornton's a sophomore still, and Mahaffey, the sophomore transfer, a guy I really liked at Penn State last year, and what he brings defensively.
Yeah. And bring back to Thornton, I wouldn't say he's a very inexperienced player.
No.
He's a very experienced sophomore.
Right.
Being that, I believe, 2-year starter now.
Yeah, he started every game for them last year.
So it's really experienced, and especially during Ohio State's Big Ten tournament run that took him to the semifinals. He was with them through all of that. So I wouldn't say, he's a very experienced leader, and he's only got 2 years of eligibility. He's only a sophomore. Right,
and Roddy Gale, also a sophomore, who last year for the Buckeyes started 10 of their final 11 games and has kept that starting spot through this season. Obviously, Scotty Middleton, the 5-star freshman, but Devin Royal was Ohio Mr. Basketball last year, and he's looked good off the bench for them. This is Chris Holtmann has done a really nice job recruiting during his time at Ohio State, and looks like he's got a lot of promising pieces. You never know when Thornton could perhaps go pro, and that's been part of it. Is the last 2 years, Holtmann's had one and dones. Bryce Sensabaugh last year and Malachi Branham the year before, both first-round picks over the last 2 seasons, one and done freshmen. But Chris Holtmann has done a really nice job building this Ohio State program since coming over from Butler, and he has made them a perennial tournament contender and certainly a contender in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they definitely have their sights set on March. I believe they had an early win against Bama earlier this year. That's a great win to have. And they definitely got their sights set on March, and Chris Holtmann's been doing a great job. And this team has been doing a great job as well. Yeah,
some notable matchups that this Ohio State team has played. They had a loss to a ranked Texas A&M team, but they beat the ranked Bama team.
Yeah.
In the Big Ten, they beat Minnesota, lost at Penn State, beat UCLA on a neutral site, beat West Virginia on a neutral site. They have some good wins to their name. So we're about 15 seconds away from getting started here in the second half. I'm Alex Miller. Alongside me, TJ Fossmeyer. Kudos to Matthew Levy and Zach Linder for an awesome first half call. And we're about to get underway. Should be a fun second half here, folks. Should be a good one. Michigan leading 37-28. Pump it up, playing the crowd, getting ready to go. Maze Rage is packed in the lower bowl, and student section ready to get jumping.
We even got the Fab Five here making an appearance.
Yep, Fab Five here. We spotted right below us, and we're up across from the Ohio State bench upstairs, but Donovan Edwards was right below us, and so the Don is in the house.
Next year's sole running back as Michigan tries to make a national championship defense.
Absolutely. Josiah Stewart also announced he's coming back, so Michigan football, a lot of promise going into next season. (37-28), Michigan leading. Buckeyes will trot out the same lineup they started with: Akpara, Battle, Thornton, Mahaffey, and Gale. Same with the Wolverines: Doug McDaniel, Namari Burnett, Terrence Williams II, Olivier Kamwa, and the big man Terrace Reed Jr. Here we go. Buckeyes will have it. Evan Mahaffey, the inbounder. Bruce Thornton back ready to get us going here. Nothing better than Michigan, Ohio State.
Let's see, wouldn't this complete the sports sweep of the year? Football, women's basketball, men's basketball, if Michigan pulls it off here?
Yeah, Ohio State women's came into Crisler and Michigan took them down. So here we go. Thornton matched up with McDaniel, top of the key. Going to get a screen from Akpar to his left. Hedged by Kamwa. Thornton driving. Olivier has him. Out to Gale Jr. Swung over to Battle. Inside to Mahaffey. Met by Terrace Reed Jr. McDaniel back switches. Spin from Mahaffey. Baby hook. Off the glass. A pretty bucket for Evan Mahaffey.
Yeah, there's nothing else Terrence Reed could have done. That was great post defense right there from him.
McDaniel swings it over to Terrence Williams. Now Burnett top of the key, met with Jamison Battle. Now McDaniel gets a Terrace Reed screen moving to his right into the corner. He's trapped. Pass to Terrace Reed is off his hand. Here comes Thornton the other way. Leaves it for Gale. Tried to get it to Battle in the corner. Pass was tipped. It'll stay with the Buckeyes.
Ohio State did a great job trapping Doug McDaniel right into the corner there. You know, forcing him into that bad pass. That was great defense by the Buckeyes.
37-30. Out of bounds will come from Mahaffey right in front of the Buckeye bench. Gets it up to Thornton. He'll let it go into the backcourt. And he'll be met by Doug McDaniel. Gets a screen from Akpara on the left wing. Now gets a handoff to Akpara. To Gale. Now Mahaffey in the short corner working on Kamwa. Evan Mahaffey just saw one go. Goes up again with a hook. And that one rattles home. Evan Mahaffey only averages 3.5 points a game. Certainly far above that in this one.
Yep.
Kamwa now working on Mahaffey the other way. Fade away in the lane. Got it to go. Nice shot in the middle of the lane for Olivier Kamwa.
And it's that mid-range threat from the Kamwa that's really dangerous for Michigan. He's doing really well in this game especially.
Mahaffey top of the key. Handoff to Thornton. They get a screen from Mahaffey. Inside to Mahaffey. Working again on Kamwa. Nice step-through move. Can't get it to go. Akpara the rebound. Put back. No good. Boarded by Terrace Reed Jr. Nice stand in the post by the Michigan defense. Here's Namari Burnett the other way. Driving. Left-handed scoop is blocked by Akpara. It'll come out to Thornton. The long arms of Akpara made the difference that time. 39-32 Wolverines. 7-point ball game. Yale Jr. on the right wing. Driving on Kamwa. He's tripped up. And a blocking foul will go on Olivier Kamwa.
And going back to that previous play, Akpar is such a dangerous and dominant post presence, especially on that defensive side. You know, getting to that block. I mean, he has a 7'5" wingspan. I mean, he's really using that to his advantage.
Akpara, the sophomore from Lagos, Nigeria, moved to the U.S. in 2018, and that's where he began playing basketball. Last year, he was behind Zed Key. Once Key got hurt, Akpara took the starting job and has ran with it. He's just such a versatile defender. Inbounds to Jamison Battle. Pump fakes the three. Drives past Kamwa into the lane. Throws it down with the left. My goodness, Jamison Battle elevated on that one. Hammered it home. 39-34 Michigan.
I think Olivier was sitting on the three too much there. He got back onto his heels and Battle took advantage of it.
McDaniel pass inside to Terrace Reed. Hop step. Left hand. The shot is good. Nice answer that time by Terrace Reed Jr. Battle working on Terrence Williams the second. Gets an Akpara screen. Pulls up from Triple Town. Got it. Maybe Jamison Battle just needed to see the dunk go down, and his shot falls. 41-37 Michigan. Back and forth game right now, TJ.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about. We have to see how Michigan performs down the stretch, you know, going into the second half.
Doug McDaniel with a quick crossover and then a floater moving left with his right hand. A tough angle, but Doug makes it look easy.
Just like you said, a back and forth game. They're just trading buckets.
Mahaffey over to Thornton. Working on a Mahaffey screen. Kamwa switches on him. Doug McDaniel is down. It's 5-on-4. Akpara spin. Gets blocked by the rim. Goes up a second time and finishes the layup. Nice finish there by Akpara. And
Doug McDaniel's
Chris Holton takes a timeout, which Michigan will welcome, as Doug McDaniel, as you mentioned, is being checked out as he walks off the floor. But 43-39 Michigan, an electric start to the second half. 16:37 left here
Yeah, I mean, whatever Chris Holtman said in the locker room, it clearly worked for Ohio State. I mean, they've come out with a bang, but Michigan has also come out with a bang, too. They've responded as well to the relatively slow start to the half so far.
But both teams had it going beginning of the third, and we've talked about it. Michigan's defense, that's been the question mark of this team, and all of a sudden the Ohio State offense gets going. Jamison Battle to the rim. Battle knocked down a triple. Mahaffey got a couple nice looks in the post, and this Michigan defense has been a question mark, and we'll see what version of that unit comes out here in the second half.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Mahaffey is the guy for Ohio State that's stepping up in, Battle and Thornton's relative absence in this game as far as the offensive production. That third option is either between Roddy Gale, who's struggled in the past few games, or Scotty Milton, who's kind of emerging into that third option for this team after being a 5-star recruit. I'm surprised with Mahaffey being such a defensive and rebounding specialist out of Penn State and here as well that he's stepping into this offensive production in this game.
Yeah, Evan Mahaffey has not been a super valuable offensive player for the Buckeyes. He starts and has played nearly 22 minutes a game, only averaging 3.5 points per game, but has 8 today, 3 for 4 from the field, knocked down a pair of free throws. And as always, he's a versatile and strong defender wherever you put him. 43-39, Michigan leads it. This has been an exciting ball game so far. Thanks for sticking with us on WCBN Sports, the official student voice of Michigan athletics. We're happy to be here in the Crisler Center. So Doug McDaniel obviously was helped off. It seems like he'll continue to go in this one. If not, perhaps we will see some Jalen Llewellyn minutes.
I wanted to see Jalen Llewellyn in this game, but not like this.
Yeah,
for sure.
It also looked like Will Cheddar was by the scorer's table, so
yeah,
he might be checking in. Cheddar has 5 points, hasn't missed a shot per usual, 2 for 2. Will Cheddar has been one of the most efficient players in the country this season.
Yeah.
Over 60% from the field and from downtown, and in really incredible efficiency.
And that's incredible efficiency
Cheddar
coming off the bench as well. I mean, he's been that spark plug. He's been that energy guy that this team has desperately needed through, highs and lows that this Michigan team has faced this season.
I think the question for Cheddar going forward is if Michigan gives him more touches, more opportunities, will his efficiency stay where it's at or will it decline a little bit? But perhaps at this point, what's there to lose with giving Cheddar some more work? And
yeah,
he's done a little bit of everything. He's done a really nice job when he works in the post against smaller players. He does a really nice job sealing and getting position low on the block. Obviously, he's shot the 3 ball stunningly well this season, and he competes on the defensive end. He can be a nice role player for Michigan going forward.
Yeah, and especially with some of these starters, looking for the NBA or Nakamwa running out of eligibility eventually, he will have to jump into that starting position. So, yeah, no, that is a big question for sure. I think he'll welcome that. I think he's been, anytime he's been on the floor, he's really made an impact for this Michigan team.
.37 left here in the second half. Michigan will be inbounding. Ohio State has gone to what looks like a man-to-man full-court press. Cheddar will inbound, gets it to McDaniel. Mahaffey comes with the trap. Doug running the baseline, gets it up to Cheddar. Now over the timeline to Terrence Williams II. T-Will going to get a screen from Terrace Reed. Doesn't use it, goes to his left. Driving inside, shot is up, just rattles off. And Evan Mahaffey the board. That's a tough drive from Terrence Williams II. That's a hard shot to get up. Felix Akpara left alone. And Namari Burnett came over and helped defense and tied him up as he went up.
Great defense from Namari Burnett to come in and help when he was wide open in the middle there. Great
play. Possession arrow goes with Michigan. An excellent defensive play by the graduate Namari Burnett. Inbound to McDaniel. Mahaffey again comes with the trap and again up to Will Cheddar and now to Namari Burnett right wing. Enters the post to Terrace Reed. Working on Akpara. Terrace goes up with the left hand. Doesn't get anything. Will Cheddar though corrals it. He goes up and he is blocked by Akpara, but a whistle blows. So Cheddar will shoot a pair at the stripe.
I think Michigan has done a great job in going against the press, against Ohio State's press to start out the second half. One struggle that Michigan has gone through this season is just sloppy ball control by Michigan against the press. They've really struggled against that, which has led to easy turnovers and then points off turnovers, which has really killed them in these games. So they've done a really good job on that side of transition offense.
And I think a lot of the time in the press break, Doug McDaniel has sort of seen himself as a one-man press break and just tries to split defenders, and that does work a lot, but getting it up to Cheddar and using the extra guy, that's really how you can beat the press efficiency.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That was one of my that's one thing that I see for Michigan, that they to win this game they have to clean up their ball control against that press break. Maybe not so much center on Doug McDaniel, but center on these other players. Cheddar, they've drawn it up pretty well with Cheddar right in the middle there, where he can, make choices from there once Doug gets it out to him.
On the season, Michigan has a negative 2.5 turnover margin, though, so they're turning it over more than 2 times per game more than their opposing team, and that can really kill an offense, just giving the other team so many extra chances. In this one, though, Michigan 6 turnovers. Buckeyes only have 3 to their name.
Yeah, and in Ohio State, they've converted points, 9 points off those 3 turnovers. And if that trend continues, that's not going to bode well for Michigan at all.
43-39, just under 16 minutes to play here in this one. We had a long Ohio State timeout, and then quickly afterward in succession to the media timeout. The second half has been off to a fun start.
Overall, this has just been a fun game.
Absolutely.
Great offense, great defense. It's especially for Michigan, the disappointing season they've had so far. I think this is a great energy game. No matter what happens in the end, it's a great energy game. To take command of a basketball game like this, it's a big confidence booster for sure. Heading into the gauntlet of the Big Ten schedule that they're coming up to next, when they have to go against Illinois, Purdue, Iowa, and Michigan State in the next 4. They're getting right into the Big Ten gauntlet that that they've been anticipating all season.
The Big Ten is it's a tough conference, always is. There's just a lot of good teams at the top. Wisconsin, Purdue. Purdue in particular has been toward the top this year, but they've been beat. But even teams like Northwestern and Nebraska have been dangerous this year. Nebraska's my team.
Minnesota's been good too. They're a very underrated team for sure.
Yeah, Minnesota has been stunningly good to me because they were last in the Big Ten last year, and obviously Jamison Battle, playing for the Buckeyes, transferred out.
Yeah. And
I was not expecting anything more from the Golden Gophers, and here they are at 12-4 overall, 3-2 in the conference, and Ben Johnson's got a good squad over there.
Yeah.
They really compete on the defensive end and have got enough scoring. They've been a good team. They took down that Nebraska team we were just talking about early in the season. They've played a lot of teams hard.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back to the action. Will Cheddar will shoot a pair. Michigan 43, Ohio State 39. Will Cheddar. First free throw is good. He's shooting at nearly 70% from the free throw line in this one. Second free throw coming. It'll be Cheddar with McDaniel, Williams, second, Reed, and Burnett for Michigan. Second free throw is good as well. 45-39 Michigan. Here comes Bruce Thornton, met by Doug McDaniel. Starters in there for the Buckeyes. Thornton gets a Mahaffey screen. Now over to Mahaffey. Swings it to Gale Jr. Working on Burnett. Over to Akpara, top of the key. Akpara dribble handoff to Bruce Thornton. Working against Terrence Williams. The second fadeaway jumper is off the mark. Rebound is bounced around. Felix Akpara comes out with it. Resets to Roddy Gale Jr. Screen from Mahaffey, hedged by Cheddar. Splits it to get the ball to Mahaffey. Pulls up from the free throw line. No good. Ball is bouncing around, and it'll go out of bounds. They'll say it goes Michigan's way. So even though the Buckeyes got a couple extra chances, Michigan will get the stop they needed and have possession.
Yeah, that was just a rough rebounding phase for Michigan there. It's just, Terrence Reed is not anchoring that post the way he should.
Mahaffey and Gale both came up to meet McDaniel, and he simply lobbed it up to Will Cheddar, Mahaffey's guy, and got it across the timeline with ease. Now resets. Terrace Reed, top of the key. Drives in on Akpara. Pump fakes. Now out to McDaniel. Doug on the right wing gets a screen from Terrace. Into the corner, wraparound pass. Gets off a tip to Terrence Williams. Now Burnett, 4 on the shot clock. Namari drive to the rim, and it drops home. Namari Burnett got up on that layup and finished it strong with the left hand. Nice take.
What a
by
tough
Burnett.
finish from him in front of Akpara, who's been such a post-defensive threat for Ohio State in this game as well with 3 blocks.
Mahaffey screens for Jamison Battle. It's hedged by Will Cheddar. Now a back switch. Roddy Gale pump fakes on Amari Burnett. Drives in, right-handed scoop. No good, but a foul is called, so he'll go to the stripe. 47-39 Michigan, 14:27 on the clock here. Michigan lead back to 8. Ohio State on a over 2-minute long scoring drought. Roddy Gale Jr. will look to break that with a pair of free throws. First free throw is good for Gale Jr., the sophomore from Niagara Falls, New York. Gale, his last 4 games, been a bit up and down. 4 games ago, had a massive 32-point outing against West Virginia, but his last couple outings, he's been 4 for 15 from the field, 3 for 17, and 4 for 13, so a little bit inefficient in the last couple of performances for the sophomore. And knocks down both free throws.
And it's these last 3 games where Middleton has, emerged as that third option, especially against Wisconsin. He did that very well as Gale continued his struggles.
Doug McDaniel now gets a switch to Jamison Battle. High top of the key to Will Cheddar. Namari Burnett gets a handoff from Cheddar. It's poked by Gale. Burnett recovers it at the logo. Doesn't use Will Cheddar's screen. Goes right into the corner to Terrence Williams. One more to Kamwa for 3 from the wing. Rattles off. Jamison Battle the rebound. Battle will take it up himself. Uses a Mahaffey screen. Will Cheddar switches on to Battle. Out to Akpara. Roddy Gale slips the handoff. Right-handed reverse. A pretty finish.
Great finish
from Roddy Gale. 47-43. Lead is back down to 4. McDaniel has Mahaffey on him at the top of the key. Gets a Kamwa screen. Now swings it over to Terrence Williams the second. Terrence on the right wing over to McDaniel. Working on Mahaffey, back to Terrence. And a whistle blows. Bruce Thornton picked up a foul away from the ball. That's his second.
Yeah, Cheddar had the mismatch with Thornton there. He was begging for the ball in the post there because that would have been an easy bucket if they found him there for that easy mismatch. Would have likely been an easy post bucket for him there.
Devin Royal will check in for Mahaffey. Royal had a nice 7 points off the bench in the first half. Inbound up to Cheddar. Handoff to McDaniel. Working on a Cheddar screen. Royal switched on to him. Inside to Kamwa. Working on Akpara. Right-handed hook is good. Nice shot by Olivier Kamwa. Elevated over and dropped the hook in the bucket. 49-43 Wolverines. Gale, nice back cut, but the pass hit him in the hands and went right through.
Yeah, and you can feel the energy in this building, and the energy on the floor by this Michigan team has really picked up over the past 3 minutes.
49-43 Michigan, 13:08 left in this ball game. Now Scotty Middleton will check in for Gale Jr. Last time Middleton came into the first half, we saw the Buckeyes move to a 1-3-1 with Middleton at the top of it. Instead, it'll be man-to-man, but he'll draw Doug McDaniel assignment. McDaniel, a hesitation fadeaway shot is short. Here come the Buckeyes the other way. Bruce Thornton has it. Driving past Terrence Williams the second. Now slows it down to Akpara. Gets it back. Working on T-Will. Driving to his left. Picks up his dribble. Drops it off to Middleton. And it bounces twice off the rim and off. Here comes T-Will the other way. Over to Burnett on the left wing. Into the post to Kamwa. Working on Scotty Middleton. Kamwa drives. Outside. Open 3 from the corner. That one is pure. Doug McDaniel knocks down the 3 ball. Big shot in front of his bench for Doug. And nothing but the bottom that time. Lead is up to 9. 52-43.
What an unselfish play by Nakamo. He had the mismatch with Scotty Middleton in the post there, but to kick it out to Doug for the easy three-point shot there. Unselfish play by Michigan here.
Bruce Thornton using an Akpara screen, met by Kama. Open three for Royal. Nothing but air that time. And the Michigan faithful let him hear it. And that'll be the 12-minute media timeout. 52-43 Wolverines, 12 minutes on the dot left to play in this one. And boy, it's been fun.
Yeah, I mean, the energy, this crowd has really been sustaining this team. You can see Doug and Shatter really provide that energy on the floor, but it's this crowd here, this sellout crowd here at Crisler that has really provided it, and that'll really help this team down the stretch. This is the point. This is the crucial point every game. We'll see if Michigan can really sustain this momentum down the stretch or they really falter. I think with this crowd's energy really into it in this game right now, I don't see them faltering. I see them still executing on both sides of the ball, but we'll have to see how that goes.
Absolutely. This is a Michigan team that has, to put it bluntly, has collapsed in some late game situations this season. And right now, you are up 9 at home. These are the kind of games you have to go home with a win.
Right.
And this Michigan defense has stood up today. Ohio State still only at 36% from the field, just 2 for 16 from three-point range. Admittedly, that's 1 for 2 in this half. Jamison Battle knocked one down.
Yeah.
But overall, the Michigan defense has been solid in this one, and the offense has continued to do enough.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Doug McDaniel has 13, 5 for 13 from the field, 3 for 5 from downtown. Kamwa, 16 points, leading the team. He's been efficient as well. Terrence Williams has 8, Will Cheddar has 7. Damari Burnett has 4, and Terrace Reed Jr. has 4 for the home team. And the other way, no one is in double figures yet for Ohio State. Scoring's been pretty well dispersed. Gale Jr. has 8, so does Mahaffey. Bruce Thornton only has 7, and Devin Royal has 7. Akpara with 6, Jamison Battle with only 5, and Scotty Middleton and Zed Key each with uno.
Yeah, and I've been very impressed with how this Michigan team, despite the defensive struggles, have really contained Thornton and Battle. Ohio State's offense have really flowed to those two players and pretty much those two players exclusively. So the way that Michigan's locked both of them up at the same time to keep this game, a 9-point lead with 12 minutes left in the second half has been really impressive. It's been keeping them in this game. I think it's a momentum builder for them as well.
No question. Battle has come into this one averaging 15 a game. We know he can fill it up. Averaged over 17 a game last year at Minnesota. And Bruce Thornton averaging nearly 17 as well. And neither of them in double figures. That's a good sign for Michigan. Michigan has done a really nice job. They've been aggressive, hedging ball screens in this one. That's really been their philosophy all year. And they do have the personnel for it at times. Terrace Reed Jr. can get out there and hedge. Will Cheddar can get out there and hedge.
Yeah.
And where they've sometimes lapsed is back switching behind that hedge. They've gotten burned at times, but the other guys done a really nice job filling in this time, finding the open players, and it has done a nice job limiting the Ohio State offense in the pick and roll action at the very least.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know I had a note on pick and roll. Like Ohio State, they struggle against pick and roll offense, which either leads to an easy bucket or a foul, easy foul on that side. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that develops throughout this game as well.
52-43, Wolverines lead it as Mr. Brightside concluding here for the Michigan faithful. I'm Alex Miller, alongside me TJ Fossmeyer. Thank you for sticking with us on WCBN Sports. Don't go anywhere. An exciting final 12 minutes left to play in this one. The greatest rivalry in sports competing on the hardwood.
We see Ohio State going with a really tall lineup here with Zed Key at center and then Akpara staying in with Dale Bonner, Scotty Middleton, and Thornton on the floor for them. So they're going tall here with 12 minutes left.
Absolutely. The two bigs in there, Akpara and Zed Key. And they're somewhat complementary players because Akpara is such a lanky defender while Zed Key has Really good post footwork on the offensive end. It looks like also the Buckeyes are going back to that 1-3-1. Yep. Middleton will be at the top of it. Zed Key at the middle, Akpara behind him with Thornton and Bonner on the wings. Burnett left wing in the zone. Up top to McDaniel, swings it to Namari. Pump fakes a pass to the corner, drives in outside of McDaniel, right wing. One more to T-Will, fires a triple. Got it! Yeah. Terrence Williams, the second, knocks down a triple. Man, oh man, T-Will continues to shoot it well.
You know, I'm not sure how long Ohio State's going to keep up with that zone defense. Seems like Michigan's just tearing up that 1-3-1 zone defense there. It seemed easy for them to find those open lanes.
I mean, if Michigan can hit those wing three-pointers, that's a weak spot in that zone. Buckeyes swing it around. Bonner drives in. Floater from the lane. Drops on in for Dale Bonner. It's a nice bucket for the fifth-year transfer. 2 years at Baylor. Before that, 2 years at D2 Fairmount State. 55-45 Michigan.
And see, just what I said, they reverted back to man defense here. That one zone play really blocked that defensive strategy going out of that timeout.
Burnett using a screen inside of Cheddar on the roll. Rattles off. Tipped out, though, to Burnett. One more to McDaniel. Another one to T-Will. Pump fakes driving in. Inside of Cheddar. Cheddar pump fake. Tries to go up and is blocked. Loose ball comes out to Thornton. Up ahead to Bonner. He'll settle it down for the Buckeyes. 10-point game. Swings it over to Thornton. Working on Doug McDaniel on the drive. Gets to the reverse layup with ease. That one was too easy. No help side came after McDaniel got beat on the dribble drive. An easy bucket for Bruce Thornton. 55-47 Michigan. 10.5 to play. McDaniel uses a Cheddar screen. Swings it to Kamwa. Fires a triple. Rattles off. Bruce Thornton met by Will Cheddar. Good matchup for Thornton. Can use his quickness. Tries to go inside and one on the scoop layup. Bruce Thornton, a nice hesitation and wrapped the arm around Cheddar to get the finish.
Yeah, great finish from Thornton there. Let's make it 11 points. You know, finally somebody for this Ohio State team that's into the double digits in the scoring margins.
55-49 Michigan. Terrace Reed Jr. came in, and also joining him for the first time is Jalen Llewellyn, who will grab Namari Burnett. Llewellyn, as we mentioned earlier, got the start at Maryland because Doug McDaniel is suspended for road games and played 33 minutes, was 3 for 11 from the field in that one, but Llewellyn, a lot of experience under his belt. Thornton knocks down his free throw, gets the three-point play the old-fashioned way, cuts the game to 5. And Jace Howard will grab Terrence Williams the second, so for Michigan it'll be Doug McDaniel, Jalen Llewellyn, Jace Howard, Olivier Kamwa, and Terrace Reed Jr. Doug is met by Dale Bonner, gets a screen going both ways, uses Kamwa to his right, into the corner to Llewellyn, up top to Kamwa, drives, and it is rejected. Akpara climbed the ladder and sent it packing. Other way, Gale Jr. pump fake drive, and he's fouled by Jace Howard on the drive. Good foul, though, by Jace. Otherwise, he concedes an open layup.
I mean, Akpar is so dangerous in the post. I mean, it seems like you can't even drive on him, and he uses that 7'5" wingspan to it seems like block any shot on Michigan's ISOs. It's crazy to watch.
That's his 4th block of the game. Akpara has absolutely made his presence felt on the defensive side of the ball. First free throw is good for Roddy Gale Jr. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes are on an 8-0 run over the last minute and a half. Meanwhile, the Wolverines have not scored in over 2 minutes. 0 for their last 4. Second free throw is good. 55-52. Lead is down to 3. See, that's what we talked about. This Michigan team is not always great at holding leads late, and it's interesting that Juwan Howard right now is trusting somewhat of a bench lineup. Jace Howard and Jalen Llewellyn have not played a lot this year. They're both in there. Llewellyn drives to the left. Now to Kamwa on the elbow. Olivier drives in outside of the corner. Jace Howard tries a triple, rattles off.
That was a good look. It was a good look, especially for Jace Howard, who's been pretty good from behind the arc, especially last season.
Bonner lob to Akpara, has the catch and the finish. And the Buckeyes have cut the lead to 1, 55-54. Timeout called by Michigan, and you've got to wonder if Juwan Howard should turn back to his guys.
Yep. No, I completely agree. I mean, it was a questionable call to put in Jalen. You know, the Jace Howard sub I get because they need some defensive stops, but Llewellyn, you know, he had that start against Maryland, but, you know, he's kind of cold from the field in that game. So, yeah, I feel like he should definitely go back to his starters.
And even Jace Howard, admittedly, yes, he is such a good defender, but Michigan has a 2.5-minute scoring drought over their last 5, and your offensive unit of McDaniel and Kamwa and Terrence Williams has been really good in this one. Obviously, T-Will can't play the whole game. Doug can't play the whole game.
Right.
But this has become a close game. Obviously, a lot of time left to play, over 9 minutes to go in this one, but it's a 1-point ball game, and not so long ago it was
a
12-point
game.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State on an 11-0 run right now.
Yeah.
So Michigan needs to find a way to get stops and needs to find an answer offensively.
And this
Keep this one tight.
And this is exactly what we're talking about. And it's just been such an overarching theme for this Michigan team this season is that they have faltered and really fell apart down the stretch as they've gotten late into games and even late into halves as well. Like, they started the second half very well, and then as it plays on, as you get down to the stretch, as fatigue kind of sets in, they falter on both sides of the ball. It seems like it's not just an offensive issue, it's not just a defensive issue. It's the whole game just seems to fall apart as you go down the stretch.
1-point ball game, 55-54. Home team Wolverines lead it by 1. 9:11 to go here in the second half. I'm Alex Miller, alongside me TJ Fossmeyer for WCBN Sports. Stick with us, don't go anywhere. We're in for a good 9 minutes. And Juwan Howard is sticking with the unit he had in before the timeout. Jalen Llewellyn, Doug McDaniel, Olivier Kamwa, Jace Howard, and Terrace Reed Jr. I'm not sure I love that decision, but we will see how it fares. McDaniel will walk it up. Crosses over. Kamwa has an open 3 because the help came over, but misses it short. Here comes Dale Bonner the other way. Crosses over on McDaniel into the corner. Middleton fires a quick triple off the back iron. Jace Howard gets to the board and is fouled.
I feel like what Michigan has to do here is I feel like they produce better on offense when they're patient, when they don't jump into early shots or they don't jump into early ISOs. When they let the offense develop and really move the ball around, that's when they're more successful on offense. I think that's what they have to do to break the scoring drought of nearly 3 minutes at this point.
Amari Burnett checks back in for Jalen Llewellyn. So it's 4 starters with Jace Howard in there as opposed to Terrence Williams II right now for Michigan. Doug McDaniel working left on a screen, gets an open look for Kamwa. He traveled, thought about a shot, thought about a dribble drive, and got caught in between.
I think that's the second or third travel of the game.
An unforced error for Michigan. 55-54, Wolverines by 1. Jace Howard guarding Dale Bonner. Bonner gets a double screen to his left. Kamwa switches onto him. Now gets another screen from Zed Key, driving past Jace Howard. Pass inside, nice one to Akpara, and he finishes over the top. A nice finish for Felix Akpara. And the Buckeyes have the lead.
Wow.
56-55, 8:20 to go here from Crisler. Namari Burnett, top of the key. Over to Terrace Reed. Doug McDaniel on a handoff. Doug driving to his right. Cross court, Jace Howard had cut in. McDaniel fired it to the corner, and that's a turnover. And Bruce Thornton will check back in for Michigan.
That's why I talked about just a couple minutes ago. They need to be patient. They're just making these unforced, unnecessary turnovers and just really questionable ball movement.
And if I'm Juwan Howard, I think that Terrence Williams has to come back in this game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I know Jace Howard's such a defensive stalwart for this team, but you got to put Williams.
Michigan needs the floor spacing that T-Will can
I agree.
offer.
Yep.
Bruce Thornton, open triple from the wing. Got it. Another falls for Ohio State. 59-55 Buckeyes. T-Will heads to the scorer's table. Boy, oh boy, the Buckeyes on a 16-0 run right now. Michigan has not scored in nearly 4 minutes.
They just need to get some points up.
Something has
Right
to
here,
fall for Michigan.
Something needs to fall in this possession.
Kamwa fires a triple.
And that's his
Back iron. Jace Howard fights for the rebound and has it. Nice hustle there. That's a really good play from Jace Howard. Extra possession coming. McDaniel uses a Terrace Reed screen, pulls up from Tripleville, and it's short. And that one is off the Wolverines. Immediate timeout. Michigan needs to sit down and have a chat.
I mean, it's been questionable shot selection. Olivier, in those last 3 possessions, he's missed 3 threes from the top of the key. I mean, it's unbelievable. The shot selection, the ball movement. They need to be patient. They need to relax. Once they the thing is with this team, once they get down, once they get fatigued, going into the movement down the stretch, I feel like they really kind of do it to themselves with making these questionable decisions, whether it's bad shot selection or a bad pass or just making these errant throws all over the place. They kind of get themselves into this rut that they initially dug themselves into.
The reset really needs to come. The Michigan team of the first half and even early on in this third quarter was playing great ball on both sides of the floor. And the offense has sort of come crashing down over the last 5 minutes or so. As I said, Michigan, 4.5 minute scoring drought. Buckeyes on a 16-0 run. And Michigan needs an answer soon.
Well, on our screen here, I mean, they will be putting in their starting lineup right now. So we'll see how that, we'll see if that has really an impact. We'll see if Terrence Williams II can really come in and make that impact, as he has really made this impact in this game so far. And I feel like that's the right call. You have to go with your starters. You have to go with those primary scorers to just get back into this game and end that scoring drought.
And I know this team doesn't like to play Will Cheddar at the 3, but I would have been more comfortable seeing him check in. If you wanted to give Terrence Williams some rest, I would have rather see Cheddar check in than Jace Howard. Not a knock on Jace, but Jace has been out all season. This is his first game action, and this is a must-win game. There is no other way to put it for Michigan. They're on a 5-game losing streak. You were up double digits. This is a game that, for morale, for any chance of salvaging something in this season, for everything about this program, this is a must-win game. And you're now down 4, 7:21 left here in the second half.
Yeah, and if you're
something has to happen.
And if you're going to be blunt about this too, Jawan might be playing for his job next year. I mean, you were up 12 against, their rival, the biggest rivalry in sports, right here, Michigan, Ohio State. It's an excellent rivalry in football. It's an excellent rivalry in basketball. You're up 12 in your own territory, and you lose it on a 16-0 run. There's a lot at stake here with 7:21 left in the second half.
I'm with you, TJ. So 4-point ball game here. 59-55, 7:21 left here in the second half.
There's just a lot of question here that comes with the results of this game. Now I know Jawan, after these last few games, his job security has been into question. It'll certainly be even more of a discussion if things don't go Michigan's way in the next 7 minutes and 21 seconds.
Absolutely. 7:21 left to play here. Buckeyes by 4. Wolverines will send out their starters. You got to wonder if they're going to play the last 7:21 minutes, because Michigan cannot afford a slip. For the Buckeyes, it'll be Dale Bonner, Roddy Gale Jr., Bruce Thornton, Felix Akpara, and they'll stick with the 2 big lineups. Zed Key in there at the 4.
That team has been really working for them. This lineup's really worked for them.
So Bonner will walk it up, the veteran, 5th-year player, met by Doug McDaniel. You get a double screen to his left. They ran a similar scheme with him a couple possessions ago. Bruce Thornton now has it screened from Akpard, who his left. Terrace Reed hedges and now is switched on him. Thornton by him, and a foul called on the floor on Terrace Reed Jr. The layup went for Thornton, but bucket will not count.
It's his 3rd personal foul on team's 5th.
Our scoreboard had a minor malfunction there as a cut from the Buckeyes. Bonner's layup rolls off. 59-55 with 6:50 to go. Terrence Williams II drives in, kicks it out to McDaniel, resets. Now to Amari Burnett, right wing, uses a screen from Terrace Reed Jr. Free throw line, open jumper for Kamwa, and he got it. The Michigan drought is over. Olivier Kamwa knocks down a big mid-range jumper.
There you go. And that's what you need to fall into. You need to fall into your strengths here. And we need a Kamwa to hit those mid-range jumpers, and we need Doug McDaniel to hit, ISO, and we'll see.
Thornton doesn't use the screen from Zed Key. Corner to Bonner. Back up to Thornton, guarded by Terrence Williams II. Gets a screen from Akpar to his right. Switching is the Michigan defense. Gale pump fake, step back three from the wing. Off the mark. Rebound is tipped away from Zed Key by Doug McDaniel. Amari Burnett has it. Now back to McDaniel. He'll walk it up for Michigan. Hesitation, loses Bonner. Now runs into Terrace Reed, and now Doug will slow it down over to Kamwa. Now Burnett fires a triple. Got it! Amari Burnett, a big-time triple, and Michigan takes the lead right back, 60-59. Michigan struggles, but found a couple back-to-back big shots for the Wolverines. Zed Key. Thornton will reset off the block, has Kamwa on him, likes that matchup. Hesitation, driving baseline into the corner, open triple for Bonner is no good. Amari Burnett on the rebound for Michigan.
And this is what we're talking about. This is what Coach Howard should have done. Fall back to the starting lineup. Fall back to what this team has naturally gone to when it needs, it needs points on the board, and it's working here.
McDaniel working on Bonner, handoff to Terrence Williams II, up top to Burnett. Now Kamwa has the whole left side of the court to himself, driving inside, fadeaway jumper, comes up short. And that'll go Ohio State's way. Terrence Reed Jr. was fighting for the rebound, and it came off of him. 60-59, Wolverines, 4:54 left here to play in this one. And by the looks of it, this one's going to come all the way down to the buzzer.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that was a good play design on that last play to give Olivier that whole left side of the floor for him to work, as he's the top scorer and the main threat for the Ohio State defense.
Thornton going to use an Akpara screen. McDaniel helping on it. Up top to Mahaffey. Slips the screen. He's got McDaniel on him. Thornton drives on Burnett. Jamison Battle checks in. He's guarded by Williams. Thornton now doesn't use a screen, goes right into Amari Burnett. The dribble drive, can't get a bucket to go. Loose ball. Terrace Reed Jr. dives on it, but he passes it to Roddy Gale, who throws it down on top of Amari Burnett. Whoa, what a sequence there. And the play is under review.
I don't know why Terrence Reed had to, he jumped to the pass so quick. I don't know why he didn't sit on it more. He just rushed to a rash decision right there, and that's what's killed Michigan before, and that's what's going to kill them in this game if they keep doing that.
So 60-59. The Wolverines have it by a point, but if this basket counts by Roddy Gale, the Buckeyes will take back the lead by 1. 4:23 left to play in this one. It has been a good matchup through and through. Wolverines started off in the lead. We're up at halftime, extended that lead early in the second half. Buckeyes went on a big run to take the lead back, and ever since it's been back and forth. A 1-point ball game here at the Crisler Center.
Yeah, and that's one thing with this Michigan team. They're a very streaky team, both sides. They can go on these ridiculous runs, like 11-point runs, 15-point runs, 13-point runs that we've seen this season, and then it's the same way for their opponents, that they can go on these like 16-point runs. They're streaky both ways.
I mean, it's been said many times, but basketball is a game of runs. That's what it is, and teams can get hot, teams can get cold, and this game very well might come down to which team goes on a run last.
Yep. And it's those streaky teams that, you cannot trust in March. You cannot trust when it comes to conference tournaments. You cannot trust it when it comes to these big games like this as well. So I want to see how they limit that, and it seems like Michigan's good when it's just back and forth. But it's just limiting those runs down the stretch is what's going to keep them in this game.
Michigan has their starters in. The Buckeyes have rode a lineup with two bigs with Zed Key in there at the 4. So we'll see what they go to for the final 4 minutes.
Do you know
60 if this bucket counts for the Buckeyes.
Do you know what's being under review? I wasn't sure. I didn't hear
It was hard
reason.
to tell.
Hard to tell.
It perhaps could have been. I'm not sure. We'll see what the refs call.
Yeah, they're still discussing it on the floor.
Regardless, it'll be a 1-point game. And Michigan is looking to get something going here and finish this game out.
And just looking, at the score charts here, Ohio State has really capitalized on points off turnovers with 16 off of Michigan's 9 turnovers. I mean, that's an insane number for the Buckeyes.
And that's especially critical when the Buckeyes have not been great in the half court in this one. They're 3 for 20 from downtown. Bruce Thornton has gotten going over these last couple possessions. His drives to the basket have been really strong, and Roddy Gale's gotten going a bit, but overall in the half court, they've missed a lot of shots. Akpara has really helped them. He has 5 offensive rebounds, and those second chances have been critical.
Mm-hmm.
But, right, as you said, points off turnovers, points in transition, those are easier possessions for the Buckeyes. Michigan, 9 turnovers.
Yeah, and that's been a struggle for Michigan, just limiting those down and, limiting turnovers, which leads to those points off turnovers. That nearly killed them against Iowa. That's killed them in games this year. And we'll see if that's, the same narrative or if they can, buck that trend in this game.
And I still think that if Michigan does not hold on to win this game, and maybe even if they do, I think there will be a lot of questions for Juwan Howard about not making the adjustment early enough to go back to his starters and to go to the particular bench lineup he went to with 2 players that, no knock on Llewellyn or Jace Howard, but they're both have not played a ton of minutes this year. And that was the lineup that really did was in there for a lot of that run that Ohio State used to get back into this ball game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just you need that lineup to just fall back to when things are not going well. At that point, when we were saying that, they should put in the starting lineup, we just need points on the board. That was a 2 to 3 minute scoring drought, and that eventually, when he didn't make that decision, that went into 4 and 5 minutes, and then he did it. I mean, it's just it's the coaching decisions as well. That's very questionable, and that'll bode prominently whether that comes when his job security or if his job security comes into question eventually down the road this season or after this season.
So the bucket counts for the Buckeyes, 61-60. Ohio State leads by 1, 4:23 to go. Both teams have their starters on the floor. Perhaps Michigan welcomes the return of this starting matchup. So here we go. 4 minutes and some change to play in this one. McDaniel lobs it to Terrace Reed Jr. He's on the wing. Going to get a handoff to Namari Burnett. Burnett hands off to T-Will, uses the Terrace Reed screen. Terrence outside to Kamwa. Fires a 3 over the top, and that one is off the mark, and it'll stay with Michigan. Terrace Reed Jr. was fighting for the board, and it'll stay with Michigan on the baseline.
Now, again, Olivier's been pretty good with, in the field, in the first half, but he needs to stop shooting those top-of-the-key threes. That's 4 in a row now.
Kamwa's 2 for 8 from downtown.
Yeah,
he has missed his last 4 from that range. Inbound to McDaniel. New 20 on the shot clock to work with. McDaniel, 2-man game with Terrace Reed Jr. and draws a foul on the floor. It'll go on Roddy Gale Jr. Under 4 to play, 3:59 to be exact. 1-point game. Sideline out of bounds from Burnett into McDaniel. Over to Terrence Williams II, flips it back to Doug. Terrace Reed Jr. slips a screen. Skip pass all the way in the air to Burnett. Burnett reverse swing legs, drop. Jamison battle over to Terrence Williams II, fires a triple. And it drops.
It's good.
Hit the back of the rim, went straight up in the air and rattles home. How about that? Terrence Williams getting the shooter's roll and continuing what has been a really excellent shooting performance. Terrence Williams II has been big time for Michigan in this one. 2-point game, Michigan leads. Thornton driving on McDaniel. Pump fakes, got Doug in the air, fadeaway shot.
Ooh.
Hit every part of the rim and somehow rattles out.
And what an underrated part of that play was Doug's body control did not force that foul, not to draw that foul. That was really good to change his body.
McDaniel attacked Akpara off the switch and draws a goaltend. And Michigan showing some life. This stadium showing some life. 65-61. Wolverines by 4. 3:09 left to play. They'll review, check that this is a goaltend. From my initial view, it looks pretty clear that it was. We'll get a chance to see it here.
Yep.
And most definitely
Backboard
a goaltend.
first.
This shouldn't take super long.
Nope.
Both teams, though, will get a chance to talk it over.
A quick decision there.
And that's it. Review is over. Basket's good for Doug McDaniel. 4-point lead, Wolverines.
And this is exactly what we were talking about, during that scoring drought. Terrence Williams II needed to come in. He was having a great game, being this third or even second option at times in this game. And he's injected life into this stadium and into this team right now.
I mean, how about Terrence Williams II? 14 points, 5 for him from the field, 4 for 4 from downtown. All righty, here we go. Thornton has it matched up with Doug McDaniel. Akpara came up for a screen, slips it. Thornton still has McDaniel top of the key. Battle comes around a screen up top to the wing, met by Terrence Williams II. Handoff game, gets a three-pointer, comes up short. Board is tipped. Kamwa comes up with it. Tried to bounce it to McDaniel. What a hand by Evan Mahaffey.
That was a lucky break for the Wolverines.
Luckily, the Michigan Wolverines keep possession. 2:40 on the clock. McDaniel working on Gale, gets a screen from Kamwa, draws a Mahaffey switch. McDaniel slowing it down. Terrence Reed screen, gets a switch to Akpara. Pass inside to Reed, nice catch. Finish can't go. And a foul called. I think they'll get it on Roddy Gale Jr.
Reed, he's struggled.
Battle.
Reed has struggled finishing in the paint today. It's been a stark difference from what I've seen calling games. It's disappointing, but luckily the rest of the team is carrying that weight.
And Terrace Reed, to his credit, has stuck with it on offense. He's been physical. He's has 9 boards. He's been a great presence on the glass. Hustling on defense. Big free throws coming, and he swishes the first one. That's big time. Terrace Reed Jr., the free throw struggles are well documented. 55% from the stripe this year. Just made a big one, a second big one coming up. Here we go. 2:27 left on the clock. Second free throw is good. Clutch free throws from Terrace Reed Jr. Michigan will pull him now for Will Cheddar. Go with a little bit of a smaller lineup with 2:27 to go. Also, if you're looking at chances to shoot free throws in general, you might trust Cheddar over Terrace Reed. But here we go, 67-61. Thornton working on Terrence Williams II. Kick out, open three for Gale Jr. Comes up short. The rebound is tipped away from Akpara by T-Will, but Mahaffey came up with it. Battle now. Will reset it outside to Thornton, working on Cheddar. Low dribble, loses it, gets it back, and finishes. Nice work by Thornton to stay with it. Cuts the lead to 4, 67-63, 2 minutes to play. Kamwa to Terrence Williams II, top of the key. McDaniel will come get it in the handoff. Now uses a Cheddar screen to his right. Splits it, driving to his left. Lefty shot. He's off the mark. Jamison Battle the rebound. Here comes Bruce Thornton, met by Namari Burnett left wing. Thornton take him to the low post. Spin move, Kamwa there to help. Over to Battle on the cut, back out to Thornton. Battle screening for him. Namari Burnett will stay with Thornton. Thornton step through physical. And a blocking foul called by Namari Burnett. The Boo Birds ring down here from the Crisler faithful. And Burnett is still down.
Juwan's going to review it.
Let's see.
That's a close call.
So they can check if this is a flagrant foul, but Burnett is not in the restricted zone. He seems set. He caught an elbow to the face as the Crisler Center erupts at the replay. So we'll see what happens here. If they change it, I believe it has to go to a flagrant one. I don't think they can just change a block to a charge on review. As I'm overhearing Zachary Linder, who's on our first half and knows the rules better than anyone on WCBN, talking it through. Michigan by 4. Either this will go Michigan's way or Bruce Thornton will shoot a pair at the stripe.
I mean, this is a big call.
It is a big call.
Huge call.
And it's close. Burnett kind of tried to get set as Thornton was sort of had a step-through move in the post, and an elbow certainly caught Burnett in the face, but we'll see what call comes. Boy, this one's down to the wire. 67-63 Michigan.
I'll give credit to this Michigan team. They've clawed back. I mean, that 16-0 run, that looked nearly insurmountable. Just all momentum was going Ohio State's way. Crisler was, quiet. And then the whole narrative flipped, in the back half, down the stretch. They've really addressed that down the stretch concerns in this game. And, they've really recovered. I'll give credit to them for that for sure.
A minute 28 to play here. These are the big-time minutes coming up. A lot can happen in a minute and 28 seconds at the end of a basketball game. Both teams have timeouts left.
Wow.
The call stands as a block on the floor on Namari Burnett.
Wow.
So Bruce Thornton will shoot a pair.
Questionable call there.
Minute 28 to go here in the second half. 67-63 Michigan.
So Roddy Gale will be inbounding here. An interesting setup by Ohio State. Thornton will just kick it out.
Inbound to Thornton. Now Roddy Gale Jr. working on Burnett. McDaniel switches on to him after Mahaffey slips a screen. Gale elevates, shot is short, rebound tipped out. Namari Burnett has it for Michigan.
Big stop there. Big stop by Michigan.
The big time stop, 67-63. A minute and 5 to go. McDaniel on the right wing, met by Mahaffey. Over to Burnett on the wing. Enters the post to Kamwa. Fadeaway shot is good. That is a big-time shot.
Great shot.
Olivier Kamwa delivers for Michigan. Thornton in a hurry. Down the lane, got it to go with the right hand. And cuts the lead back to 4. Boy, you have to wonder if Olivier Kamwa doesn't make that shot. It's somewhat of a questionable decision. Took a fadeaway with 17 seconds on the clock. When you're up 4, I mean, if you miss that shot, you've just given Ohio State extra time to try to make a comeback.
Yeah.
And it's not like it was a particularly wide open shot either.
No, I mean, Akpara was right there. He was right there.
Good for Michigan's sake. Kamwa knocked it down.
Yeah, but he's been making those questionable shots this whole game. In the first half, when Michigan got into late in the shot clock, those late in the shot clock situations, he's been chucking up those mid-range shots and they've been falling in. So I don't necessarily blame him for taking that shot at all. But it certainly would have been questionable if he did not hit that.
69-65, Michigan by 4. 52.8 to play. The Buckeyes will enter a full court press. Wonder what Chris Holtman is thinking when it comes to, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan setting up a press break where they line up everyone on the baseline and kind of like a football play from the line of scrimmage. They've run this before. We'll see what comes of it here.
It's like Williams in the shotgun here.
Terrence Williams will have the inbounds. Some go routes coming from everyone but McDaniel. McDaniel kind of curls it now. Kamwa comes back to the ball. Hand off to McDaniel. McDaniel coming up the right sideline, and he's across the timeline. A trap comes from Mahaffey. What a hesitation by McDaniel. Into the corner to Burnett. Another trap coming from Battle and Mahaffey. Now Gale. Skip pass to Kamwa is up in time. Olivier slows it down. Terrence Williams, a wide open three from the corner. Got it! He got it! Terrence Williams the second. Have a day, 5.
Wow.
Have a day, 5. Terrence Williams. A massive three-pointer. Shot no good for the Buckeyes. McDaniel on the board. Foul comes. The fans can feel it here. How about Terrence Williams the second?
What a shot. And, and for Ohio State, you could have wondered, why didn't they foul there? I mean, it was looking like that possession was dragging on, probably farther than Chris Holtman and the Buckeyes thought would drag on. But you'd wonder, just send them to the line. Maybe force 2 up, maybe, score, get a 3, and then get another stop. You wonder if, fouling was at least in consideration on that play.
I think Holtman was trying to get a stop. They were running a couple of traps in the half court. But how about Terrence Williams the second?
What a shot.
The senior, having far and away the best year in his Michigan career, and is having a massive game for Michigan. 5 for 5 from downtown. None bigger than that one. Terrence Williams inbound, easy into Namari Burnett after Gale fell down. Burnett tried to get it ahead to Kamwa, but they'll call a whistle. So Burnett, I believe we're in the bonus. So 1-and-1 coming for Namari Burnett. 21.8 left to play. 7-point lead for Michigan.
At the line, shooting the 1-1 for the Wolverines, number 4, Namari Burnett.
Man, what a three from Terrence Williams the second.
Yeah, just what a game for him. 5 for 5 from 3, 6 for 9 from the field. Wow.
For whatever reason, Doug McDaniel is on the block for the offensive rebound, and Terrence Reed Jr. and Terrence Williams are behind. Burnett probably going to try to get a stop if Namari misses, or they'll set up a trap. The shot goes in and out, no good for Burnett. Still 7-point game. Thornton going downhill on Burnett. Outside to Battle, tough three-pointer on the move, comes up short. Rebound is with Terrence Williams the second, and he will be fouled. And the crowd comes to their feet here in Crisler. They can feel it. Michigan by 7, 10 on the clock, 9.8.
And that's exactly what I would have drawn up if I were Holtman. I know Battle has been, struggled from 3 tonight, or today, 1 for 7, but he is that 3-point threat. One of them, one of the best in the country, one of the best in the Big Ten, the best certainly for the Buckeyes. That's exactly what I would have drawn up. Maybe find a more open look than what he had there, as he was smothered by 2 defenders there. But I couldn't agree more with the call.
First free throw is good for Terrence Williams the second. The senior from Clinton, Maryland, has stepped up in this one for Michigan.
I mean, what a big win for this team. What a big win for Coach Howard. All around, it's a huge win for Michigan. And it does complete the series, the fall sports sweep of Michigan versus Ohio State.
Second free throw coming. And it's off for Terrence Williams. Here comes Gale Jr. Wolverines don't want to foul. Gale Jr. picks it up, swings to Battle. He'll fire a triple. And it's off the back iron. Namari Burnett, rebound at the buzzer. This one is over. The Wolverines win it 73-65 over the Ohio State Buckeyes. A big-time win. Michigan snaps a 5-game losing streak that needed to come to an end. What a win for the Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big win, snapping that 5-game losing streak to Ohio State. It's always a goal to beat them, and they certainly went out and did it in a really great way. Coming over adversity, coming over those struggles that, they've surmounted through all season long, and they effectively, went through that. Came up with a big win.
I mean, the Buckeyes fought hard, and they made a late push in the middle of the second half and got it back. They were leading by, I believe, 4 at one point, and Michigan settled back in went to their starters, the guys Juwan Howard can trust and rely on, and those guys, that 5, closed it out for Michigan, hit some big-time shots. Checking the box score, Kamwa with 20, Terrence Williams the second, 18, 5 for 5 from downtown.
Wow. What a game.
They do say that plus minus is not a end-all be-all stat, but T. Will was a plus 19. No one else was in double figures in the plus minus, so making an impact.
It was really that impact player.
McDaniel had 15, Burnett had 7, Cheddar off the bench with 7, Terrace Reed Jr. with 6. On the other side for the Buckeyes, Thornton with 19, 12 for Roddy Gale, Felix Akpara with 10. But this is a big-time win for Michigan. Looking ahead for the Wolverines, they're in the heart of the Big Ten gauntlet. They have Illinois at home, then they head to a big-time clash at Purdue, then welcome Iowa, a team they beat early in the season at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and then they head across town to East Lansing. But a big-time win in this one, and that'll about do it for us here from the Crisler Center. TJ, any final thoughts to wrap this one up?
I mean, just my one final thought, they did everything they needed to do to win this game. They came over adversity. They came over their early season and midseason struggles. And despite that, they came in with a big win in front of this Big Ten, this Big Ten gauntlet in front of a home crowd, which is very refreshing. And yeah, I mean, they came away with it in the, honestly, the best way possible in a close game.
Well, that'll about do it for TJ Fossmeyer, for our first half crew that did an excellent job. Matt Levy and Zach Linder. I'm Alex Miller. Thank you for tuning into WCBN Sports, and I'll leave you as we always do with a good night, or afternoon in this case, and go blue, folks.